3, 2, 1, go. Well, yeah, that's good. I have a refrigerator that has a similar size gap. My cat was never that athletic though to try to attempt something like that. I'm gonna knock this beer over. I need to move it over to the other side. I only did it once so far. Oh, I did not spell that right. Hey, Revive Monkey, how's it going, man? Just getting started. Oh, I saw that GIF a while ago. Well, Wiener Dog takes it, I think. It was a Wiener Dog, right? Yeah. Alright. So I think it's like my solemn duty to get this Myrmidon killed. I think we're gonna do that. Still need to set up a little bit here, though. Might as well swap over. I find it kind of... Ooh, wrong one. There we go. I find it kind of frustrating. When I look at the new Newcom icons, and I think about what some of the people at FanFest said and what people said in general about it, how they're very difficult to differentiate between them all. And when I was sitting in a roundtable panel and people were discussing it. The devs were giving their 2 cents and the players were giving their 2 cents. The players had a very firm mindset and the devs were kind of another different firm mindset. Essentially, it's been deployed. This is what you got. We'll think about it for adding, say, color back to the icons. And when I was sitting there, I was thinking about, you know what? Back in the day, I mostly knew where icons were by muscle memory. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it was mostly muscle memory. I remember that my market was up here, and I remember fleet was over here. And I'd still search for buttons. I'd still search for the right button. And what I've been thinking about in the past couple of days is when I've been looking for a particular button, I've been running into issues trying to find where things are. All the time. And I had, like, especially with inventory. Let's see here. Can I identify it? Is it even here? That's assets. Yeah, I don't even think I have my inventory bound right now. Oh, evidently it is bound. Oh, it's up here. Okay. So this is one I constantly miss because it's essentially your hanger. But I feel like the critical step I'm missing. I think I have the same issue where for me it's mostly by muscle memory. I'll flick my mouse over to where it should be and then find it manually. Like the mail icon, that's pretty much the same for all my clients. Is near the top. I don't have much trouble finding mail, but I tend to have trouble finding things down here. But I think the real reason for that is it's different between my clients. So I just probably need to change that around. But I mean, what people are saying about like the old Neocom, how the icons had color and you can differentiate between the icons very easily that way. I never had that. I would still have trouble finding the different icons because they're small. And even with my glasses, I have, a little bit of difficulty differentiating between icons. It's mostly by this icon should be near the top. There it is. I'll find it because it's near the top, and I'd find them with only minimal difficulty. Yeah, I mean, I think for most people, what it really is muscle memory, and then like they associate that muscle memory, and then they think about, okay, what do I want, and then they do a little mental search for the type of icon image that would be associated with what they want, and then they'll quickly find what they need, pretty much by kind of that visual association with what they want. So like, I want the browser. Okay, that's kind of like a globe icon. That's probably a browser. Browser, got it. Click. And that's all within like a second, as long as that icon is where it needs to be. And for me, I just need to, I guess, move these guys around. Unless copious amounts of alcohol are involved, yes. Then everything's just tossed into a loop. Yep. Why is this all the way over here? It should be all the way over there. Okie dokie. I didn't use much hail, did I? Armor hit point, we can do better than that. Alright, well, we're taking our sweet time here, might as well just get a good drug roll. And okay, let's play the station camper roulette. Can I find someone that's willing to shoot my pod by doing a duel? Or is everyone going to ignore me or reject my duel invites? Oh, there's so few people outside station. How am I supposed to find someone that's going to duel me? Come at me, bro. I'm in a pod. Nope. Fuck. Fuck. There's like no one here that's gonna... Okay, whatever. Hey, Woobly. The old market, wallet, and map were super difficult to tell apart. I can't remember. There were some icons that are definitely very similar. I just learned the hotkeys for my first week and never bothered with the icons. 100% crit, I like that. Man, I should probably do that at some point. Just bind them the hotkeys. That's not a bad idea. Though, if anything, I'd probably bind things like dock and approach and all that sort of stuff before I do anything else. Am I in Dodixie? Yes, I am, Revive. I'm in Dodixie. If you want to do me a solid and kill my pod. You got another personal best! Fantastic, Woobly! How much time did you save? That's a lot of Galenti coming out of that station. I'm tempted. Oh, don't worry about it, Revive. Don't worry about it. I'll be dead in just a couple seconds here. 10 gems away, originally 30. Wow. How'd you bridge that distance? You use a wormhole or something? You save 40 seconds. That's a huge save. That's really impressive, man. Dude, you've been making some good progress in the past couple of weeks. That's really cool. Your second best time in Half-Life 2. Dude, high five. Congratulations. That's awesome. Number 2 in the world. Wormhole, cool. Yeah, I just threw a bunch of stuff in the Thera. Hopefully can get some cool Thera stuff going on soon. Oh, speaking of which, I need to rejoin that channel. Micro Gang Help. It's Chesser's Small Gang PvP help channel. Which evidently is more about hands-on learning than anything else, which I really think is cool. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Chesser announced this at FanFest. I don't know how long it had been going on before then, and I don't know if he's the guy that came up with it, but so there is a channel that Chesser is associated with, I don't know if he put together, that is designed to help with, like, micro gang PvP, like pretty much 1 to 10 man size gang PvP. And instead of just putting a bunch of guides out there for people to read, essentially it's a channel that you can join. It gives you details on some bare bone basics of essentially how to get in touch with these guys that are running the channel and how to join their gangs and get into some higher level micro gang PvP, which is super awesome, really cool, very cool community kind of effort that those guys are putting out together. And the really neat thing is that they're basing it out of Thera, which means that they can go anywhere, essentially. It's a very centralized location because of that. In part thanks to, say, resources like Eve Scout. So very cool stuff. So I just put a bunch of ships in there, some cruisers, some interceptors, and hopefully I'll be able to join up with those guys and do some of that stuff. But the place to go to join up with those guys is Microgang space PvP. Oh no, Microgang Help. It's this one right here, Microgang Help. Alright, let's hope I get a better drug roll this time. Armor hit point penalty is pretty rough. Yeah. I've been getting this missile explosion radius penalty, like, I don't know, 3 out of 5 drug rolls on Exile. It's very rare that you fly in a ship, an armor tank missile boat. The only one I can think offhand is a Sacrilege that's going to typically be used in Exile. But it strikes me as amusing. Okay, well, I am good to go here. The real question is where to go, which direction to go. I know Dead Terrace is fairly active right now, which is kind of a blessing and a curse. It's not something I really want to be dealing with a lot, running around on Myrmidon, but it is content. I've been getting some really good fights over in Mini Space. I'm kind of tempted to go right back over there. My luck over in Blackrise, kind of Galentica Space has been really hit and miss, mostly miss, during this kind of later time zone, US prime time, early in the work week. So I think going over to Mini Space is probably going to be my best bet, despite the threat that's posed by Dead Terrace and friends. So we'll see if we can get through those dudes. Get past those dudes. How much space do I have in there? Okay. I can fit with like one more booster, right? Almost. Instead of that, why don't I just put in a little bit more EMP? And take out some fusion. Off by 10. Can I fit that cap booster now? Bloop. Sweet. Sweet. Okay, let's get going. Do you want some friends? Sure. If you guys want to come along. Needs to be the opposite way. There we go. Yeah, just put a X into frat box and I'll drag you in. I'm probably gonna dodge on comms for now, though. So you guys, if you do want to tag along, you can be doing a little bit of the solo thing. If you want to join along, just we'll coordinate through fleet. Did I lose my BC? No, this is actually the same Merm I've been flying for since yesterday, I think. You come as always, yeah. Thanks, TikTok. Is Dead Terror still messing with your PvE vessel? A cat looks like it's owned by Japanese birds. Amazing, maybe. Wonder why you think that. What about that cat makes you think that it is Japanese in nationality? There we go. They sent an interceptor with 2 stabs at a golem, and it ended about as you'd expect. Yeah, what I find amusing about the double stabs, the stabs that affects lock range and I believe scan res. I believe it's a double negative, double penalty. It's been a while since I fit stabs. I can't remember what exactly the penalties are. Let me check it. Warp core. That is not how you spell core. It's almost how you spell crow. Let's see here. It is both scan resolution and targeting range. Yeah, so that interceptor would have a lock range of like 10. I wonder if it had a long point or a scram. That's just so ridiculous, though. Why would you do that to an interceptor? Oh god, TikTok wants to join. Alright, dude. You're in. Oh, how's it going, Vice Virtue? The stabs were offline. You know, there are some modules when you turn them offline, you no longer have the penalties, but I think most penalties on modules, they will stay intact if you have the module offline. If you have a stab offline, do you still get the penalties? Short hair cats would be Japanese. Okay. Yeah, let me set that up for you. Oh, is fleet already there? I wouldn't fucking know. Set free move. Is there anything else that he wanted? Great. There you go. Oh my gosh. Cannot type today. Oh, my wants an in. Oh, Jesus. So Dead Terrace was camping the Aelente gate earlier. I don't know if they're going to be doing it now. I'm streaming. It's going good. Got a couple mangoes yesterday, and they still aren't ripe, so I'm kind of disappointed with that. Ah, the drama thread, yes, yes. The are you talking about the one that the chat logs from Fratbox, the one with Chester and TikTok and Fintario and all that stuff? I thought that's the kind of drama I could feed off of for many a day. You know, constructive kind of argument and discussion. It's not even really people arguing. Just people talking. I liked it quite a bit. So you got an executor for reps, huh? Okay. Let's see if this guy's actually watching stream. So cute. That's a nice one, Spaceship Bob. Link, please. I don't know if someone can link that from Twitter's. So my big problem with Hardcore Girly doing Ishtar stuff with Executor is more that Executor is not going to be flagged until Hardcore Girly gets the tackle he wants. Which is fairly annoying. Oh, that Executor is gone. I wonder if it went back into gel. If you haven't figured it out, though, Bob, that Chester account is not Chester. The Chester SB or whatever. I don't know about Epic, but it is definitely a troll account. Oh, BS? That's actually pretty well done. I like that. Yeah, this guy's been at it. Did he actually get something there? I don't see a pod. There might be one, though. Hmm. I saw this Monarch guy just had a 200k pounce off the gate. I don't know if it's in line with anything, but how exciting. It's funny because it's Chester BS, yeah. Yep. You know, another thing I didn't even really think about is I don't want to do that. So I only have ogres, so fighting an Ishtar would be really rough. Going to win Fazisal Aviv. Do we finally get that alliance going? I don't even know. Oh, thank you God. Well, I would say Chesser definitely does have an ego. He's very much a know-it-all when it comes to EVE Online. The thing is, he does know a lot about the game, and like essentially, like this actually happened at FanFest. Like the first couple of things we were talking about, we're just talking. I was right before or right after I went up for the Worlds Collide thing where I was on the stage. Chester was up next, and we're standing right next to each other. We're kind of talking about the game. I was cheering. He was cheering. He was talking to some of his buddies, and we talked about I think the Cerberus. And he's like, the Cerberus is so slow. And, yeah, it's slow. It's not that slow. And he mentioned like a speed. I told him no, I was wrong. It's a little bit faster. And he actually had a buddy of his like look up on EFT. Hey, what's the speed of a Cerberus without nanos? It's like, sure, let me look it up. And it was the speed I quoted is like, oh wow, you actually knew. And then it's like all of the high and mighty kind of sense of I know everything and you probably don't. It just evaporated. So I think it really has to do with his EVE upbringing in the hatchery. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the hatchery used to be, I don't know if they're still operating, is the EVE Online corporation for TeamLiquid.net, which is like a kind of StarCraft 2 fan site that's associated. They're pretty much a lot of competitive gamers, I guess you could say. So for the group of those guys that actually got into EVE Online, they took it pretty seriously, and they were led by a dude named Quark UK. And Quark was pretty serious about his PvPs. He was pretty damn serious. So, what does mine look like? Because I'm missing a turret. So he doesn't have a Cyno? He can't have a Cyno. Because he has all his turrets filled. He has 5. I have 4. When you look at mine, it's missing a turret in the middle. Well, how about that? And he's Afterburner fit. Ooh. Interesting. So I like to play it cautious with an entity like Dead Terrace. If I see someone that seems to be trying to solo, I don't anticipate him to solo. So I'm going to jump and then jump back and see if like a gang just jumped in the system now they thought I moved on. Which didn't seem to happen. Okay. Nor do I see a bunch of dudes coming up on scan. So I guess I'll go for that Myrmidon and see how long it takes for him to get friends. Well, here's Hardcore Girly. So that's at least +1. That's going to be a buddy with him. Sure. Oh my gosh, is he actually approaching my ship? Oh no, he boarded. Okay. Oh, that's silly. It's like taking your saber and saluting. Oh, look, TikTok. Okay. Yeah, trade merms, that'd be awesome. Like, I'm really curious how many people he's going to bring to this fight. If any. I'd also be down to just do a 1v1 with him. I'll ask him if he wants to do a 1v1. I guess that doesn't block him for that. So I do know that Hero has an Afterburner, so he already has some level of advantage, where my MWD is not going to do much. Okay, here we go. Acolytes out are interesting first choice. Pretty much says I'm going to try to go for your drones. Oh, is he hull tanked? I'm like thoroughly confused on what Hero's game plan is right now. What kind of gun is he using, actually? Heavy neutrons. That's a hefty hull tank. That's a pretty ridiculous hull tank. It's hitting really hard. Or, I mean, it's taken a lot to break it. I just don't understand why he's using acolytes. I'm very curious at these party supplies. What are the party supplies? Like, if I'm gonna get a 1v1, I want to get a legit 1v1. If the guy didn't have his ship fitted properly, then I don't really have much interest in, don't have much interest in the fight. It definitely would have been to the death if, it definitely would have been to the death if there was an actual fight. There was very little. So, it was a mirror matchup. Myrmidon versus Myrmidon. He was a buffer tank. I was an active tank. It's already very difficult for a buffer tank to take on an active tank. But he wasn't using the drones his ship was designed for. His ship is designed to use much larger, higher damage dealing drones. So there wasn't much of a fight going on there. So I mean, it evidently is. This is something like of a comedy sort of thing going on. So I'm more curious to see what he had in store for me comedy wise than blowing up his ship. Oh, Jessen? Okay. Paxamara. I guess Paxamara details the need for lots of drinking and male hookers. Man tank, oh god. Oh, yeah, they're still there. Okay. Alright, well, there is a fight nearby, hopefully, so we'll see if we can get it. You know about Twitch selling out, right? What are you talking about? You mean to Amazon? I don't mean like they're getting bought out again or something like that. No, I guess I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by selling out? I thought they got acquired by Amazon. Is that a burrito? That's a quesarito. Oh my goodness. Oh shit. Yeah, I was told that was just a couple sepals. It's a little bit more than 3 sepals and... Okay, so we have one guy that warped to the Italian get at 0. So he's going to jump through into high sec and try to bail, but that gang does have some people that could potentially follow him into high sec, so I want to try to give him the best chance possible of getting out. So what I'm going to do is follow up with my gang links, but... Okay, so they actually have some dudes that aren't suspects. Is Hero still in local? Oh my gosh, they have an impel on the other side as well. That is masterwork theory. Masterwork use of alts. Okay, so what do they have on the gate right now? Well, this is gonna be a bit of a bitch. I wonder how many people of my corporation are online. Fuck? Thank you, lag. Well, if they engage right now, they would have had me. That's one hell of a bump. I love that server tick. I love that server tick. I know I'm hitting jump, but it's not going to jump me because it has to take a second to process any command I make. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. I think I can circle around to Camilla. Let's see here. Oh no, does the hero get caught by... Oh my gosh. Why are pirates so bad? Why are outlaws so bad at using high sec? I'll never understand this. I'm hoping Hero's still alive. I'd find it very amusing if that was the case. Reload the Ripper? Thank you for the reminder. Sorry, I'm managing a fleet and an alt, so... Yeah, the 1 second tick is brutal, man. Yeah, that's like a really good example of why I like to have IS Boxer running to show you guys what's going on with my alt. Like, there could be a lot of drama going on with the alt, you know, the alt being in danger or the alt scouting things, that sort of stuff that you wouldn't otherwise be seeing. So I'm really happy for how this IS Boxer is working out. Yeah, happy 420, everyone. Bob, why you gotta be so bitter, man? Okay, well, now that we're here, Ishtar on scan, what's going on with the Ishtar? Does it start doing stuff? It's not going to be anything other than large, I would guess. Maybe cost chunks. This is actually, it's taking more of my time to type everything out than just talk, so I'm just gonna get on comms.
Connected.
It's gonna bump the shit out of you, Mai. Alright, so okay, so we have the S2N guys.
Third card.
How's it going, man? Well,
Not too bad.
if that is going to be there and we don't have the numbers for that, then I guess we're going to be heading towards TikTok's homeland and hope it's not all TikTok's friends. Only thing I can think of is Dead Terrorists. I don't know how active they're being right now, though.
Oh, it's Dead Terrace. They're probably sitting on a gate.
Maybe. I'll play with it. Yeah, let's do the Sisade route, go over to Haddo, and then loop around to Golem, head over to Bossburg, see if the 7-2 guys are active, and then kind of take it from there.
Okie dokie.
Hello, X.
Yeah, that gate camp at least doubled in size since they killed me.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's alright. It's the Luxembourg, I guess.
I lost a probe to Dead Terrorists earlier today trying to get things into Thera. I was a little bit miffed, but oh well. It was, yeah, Insulox Seeple in that case.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah. They got me before. I was aligned to the station coming out of stealth, and they just got me anyways.
Yep. I'm really surprised they didn't kill my Link ult. Their Typhoon got a nasty bump on me. Yeah, that was. Yeah. I don't know how much space that guy had to line that up and get the speed going, but that was really impressive. Right arm is killing me. Then use the left. It's like a whole different person jacking you off. Alright, let's see. Does it still require Shift plus Tab? How does it work? You can assign any hotkey. Right now, I'm using Control Z and Control X to manage my manage my accounts. It's not much of a like I don't have to reach around anywhere with my fingers. I find it to be very convenient and go between my accounts very quickly. But it's essentially like an Alt Tab. That's actually, I believe, one of the rules of managing, like doing multi-boxing. If you're using an outside program to manage it, you essentially still have to be doing everything that you'd be required to do if you're running two clients. So if you're going to be quick swapping between clients, you can't have like some sort of macro setup to run between clients. Okay, I already have a Vexer Devoter on scan, Confessor, Stabber, Fleet Issue on scan, and Cicade.
Are you on the Momoki gate?
No, they're not. I'm checking gates right now.
Good.
I'm guessing they're at their station. Yep, pretty much all that at the station. Devoter just landed on Alga Gate. Moving my links really quick. Okay, I'm jumping into it. Mai, what are you on? You're an Ishtar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Proteus on scan. Well, I'm going to try to kite some of this stuff. So I'm just going to be pulling away here. Let's just poke at this guy, I guess burn towards Star and see what they bring out.
Okay.
Okay, Breaking Cloak. I'm not going to point him, I don't have a long point, but I'm putting ogres on him.
I'll do it.
Yep. He's pointing me. Nothing on close so far.
Blackbird.
Mm-hmm. Proteus. Oh, there's Zero. Okay, I'm gonna start burning at the Blackbird. He's whipped off. Okay, I'm staying on the Devoter. Can we start dealing with the Augur? Augur is engaged. I'm really curious if they're bait tanking with that Devoter. I'm very, very fucking curious. Just wish I
Okay.
could, I really wish I could overheat my ogre damage right now.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I'm swapping over to augur. Can we get a point on the augur?
Point.
Okay.
Oh.
Whoa, pulling off. That's all friendly to them.
That's Vexor though. A Blackbird actually.
Is everyone okay?
Yep.
Okay. Just gonna disengage at this point.
Kill the Blackbird.
Is it engaged? Yeah, go for it, go for it. I'm like 120 off of it. I'm gonna need a warp in.
Yeah, I can give Warp in.
Okay. Just trying to get pulling my ogres at this point. They are very slow.
How we looking?
I warped.
TikTok, are you far? Oh, you're off. Okay.
Matt, you gonna be able to get your drones back in?
No, I left them there. It's
Oh,
alright.
Coward.
Pick up some more ogres.
Okay. My poor slow ogres.
Yeah.
They're forever
It's getting
very far
back.
away from me. Yeah.
Oh. That's
I'm
good.
okay. I'm okay. Just gonna MGD.
Like Jim Prep.
They got links, it seems.
No shit.
Are you gonna get away or are you dead?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I just really want my ogres. just give me my ogre. Please. I'm wishing I was a Vexen Navy issue. I want that speed bonus on my drones.
Yeah. It's the only way they'll ever get anywhere.
TikTok, can you bump my ogres towards me, please?
Let's see, I'll try.
I'm just watching for the warping right now. Jimmy trying. I don't even know if they have a I don't think they have a hitbox. I don't think you can collide into drones. They'll go through. No, they won't go through stations. That's actually a really good point. But they will instantly.
Through a pause.
They'll go through a pause. Okay, but they won't go through a station. Sometimes they will, but most of the time they'll like just kind of bump through.
I don't think I bumped any of them.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't think
pretty
so
sure I went through
either.
them.
It's the thought that counts. Thank you. Why do you not have skills for Tech 2 Ogres?
I do.
Why are you using
I don't know
integrated?
why. I have no idea.
Okay,
This ship could have been there for years. It's a
understood.
relic.
It's okay. Okay, understood.
I have 28 ogres in CZ if you want.
I already picked up 5 from the station here.
Roger. All right, I'm gonna bounce to the station to try to juke him. Then I'm gonna head towards Azur and start heading that direction. I'm gonna go towards Hadazoko. Fortunately, I'm pretty sure those guys are gonna next to the S2N guys are probably gonna be able to show in town. I'm guessing anyway. But I guess we'll kind of look around and see.
Oh, sorry, did you know you can martyrdom trap off grid?
You can MGD off grid, really?
Yeah. It was actually really cool. I just martyrdom trapped and then suddenly it was just gone. Everything was gone.
Well, I mean, I imagine it's the exact same thing as just burning off grid, right?
Well, the difference, yeah, I guess. Just you suddenly disappears. It's kind of strange. Like, the difference is that you are, like, if you have people next to you, I think you can still do it. I'm not sure, I'll have to test that.
What I want to test, and I'm pretty sure I've tested it in the past, is doing an MGD with a structure, and then doing an MGD with a module at the same time, and then blinking, 200 km in the span of like a second. I'm pretty sure you can only do one or the other. I'm pretty sure that's the case. But
Yeah,
I
assume you would, like, get denied. Nope, can't do
yeah,
that.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Do you have
It's been a while since
cooldown
I've tried
on
it.
the module?
Is there a cooldown on the module?
I don't know. Easter?
Yeah, yes, it's a 3-minute cooldown.
Ah.
Dude,
For
if you
structures,
just
there
do
is no
back-to-back,
cooldown.
It'd be so sick.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
I was wondering, like, is there a cooldown on the structure? How often you
no,
can-
there isn't. So, like, if you had a whole bunch of structures lined up, you could just, the only thing that'd be slowing you down is the activation time of each structure. Okay, I have one Vexor on scan from the Zerg gate. So far, it's a very slow chase on their part. I was wondering why I was so quiet. Let's get the music back and playing. Was the Devoter close? It seemed close, but I was pretty sure that the Augur was bait taking a little bit. But then again, maybe he wasn't. Maybe the Augur wasn't bait taking, but he might have been a duo fit, and they're just trying to pull us in close or something, waiting for that gang to come. So he may have just been capping out, try to rep him. Maybe. Okay, what is going on over here?
Maybe the auger had stabs, so you couldn't lock the developer.
Yes, it was stabs. Yes, it's the new hot subject for today. It stabbed everything. What else can we throw stabs onto to make it worse?
Everything.
It's dead all the way to Hadisiko. That's sad.
Oh, have you just sent your ult that way?
No, take. It's a Cinnaball.
Oh, yeah.
Can be anywhere, anytime. Of course I have warp speed rigs. So I have
Oh, you do? What is your warp speed?
5.6 AU. So I warp like in a Assault Frigate.
It's amazing.
And I have 3-second alignment time, and you probably saw how fast I was going.
I actually did not. How fast were you going?
Like 4.8. Cold.
That's amazing. He's PMC. He's fairly well known for his shit fits. I've been trying to come up with a good solo auger fit, kind of similar to what I've done with the Osprey. I've not been able to accomplish that. All right. Well, I guess we'll just start falling behind you as you scout ahead, system after system after system. From there, if there's anything on the map, why don't you head towards Avadi, see if there's anything over there. Occasionally, there's stuff over there. If you're not, just loop back around and we'll head towards Golmagal.
Yeah.
It's just a really tough time zone. I mean, if you don't have what it takes to take on, say, the Deterrus, like, Tenderman and So-Man Gang, or the, whoever's in Hola, then you're just kind of shit out of luck for fights.
It'd probably be more entertaining for your stream if I was like following you around in the armor, trying to like harass you.
Oh, it'd be so entertaining. So entertaining. Fuck off.
He's thinking of the fans.
You're one of the few people, aside from tacklers seen in Exodus, that understand the mechanics of battlecruisers and battleships and their capacity to MJD, and watching for that animation. Bravo, sir, bravo.
I've been using the micro jump drive since it came out.
Dude, I'm very flattered
I used to
that
fly Dominic's just micro jump drive. That's basically all I ever flew, ever.
Was that for PvE or PvP?
PvP.
PvP, okay.
Like, that's... Few people in Faction Warfare were flying frigates, and I was like in the fleet with the Dominics.
Yeah, because MGD Dominix is pretty standard for PvE. So, I was curious about that.
No, I had 2 heavy newts, 2 medium newts, 2 smart bombs, a micro jump drive, long point, web, micro jump drive, capister, and a tank.
What I like to do with the newt Domi was the 4 newts, like 2 heavy newts, 2 medium newts, and then 2 RR. And just throw RR into people. And then have like a huge brick tank, no damage mods.
Yeah, I had 2 smart bombs, so I could smart bomb pods.
Were you using EM or explosive damage?
I used ogres, I believe. Yeah. This was
For
before the.
no, for your smart bombs.
Oh, what was that? No, explosive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I know you can't do it with 2 EMs. I think you'd have to at least use
Yeah,
explosive.
you need 2 explosive. I had to take 2 explosive. You can kill unlinked pods with 2 explosive smart bombs, but if they have links, you need 3 smart bombs.
Yeah, it's links or if they're slaved. So I think you can't kill a slave, like a high-grade slave pod, 2 explosive. Like, it'll have like a little sliver of structure left. I found that's out the fun way after getting a fight with a couple Namis.
Sorry, which way did you want us to head after that?
Okay, so after Hatazoku, I'm heading towards Gomagad. TikTok is heading towards Avadi to see if anything's going on over there.
You can probably just set this destination to Egmar.
To Egmar? Yeah, pretty much. And to answer your question about the EOS, Acrimus, no, very rarely. Command ships are really expensive right now.
Oh, and I have a Mercurial with
ridiculously expensive
for 4.5 AU second warp speed.
Dude, that's
You
nice.
know, 1k DPS and destroy warp speed.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about CCP removing the CPU penalty from warp speed rigs.
I'm super duper happy about it. I don't see how.
I like it because they're so strong, like unbelievably strong. I don't. Think
Well, they're
people
also
realize how
fairly
strong warp
necessary.
speeds are.
Yeah, they're also fairly necessary. Oh, yeah, they're incredibly strong for gang combat, especially for getting like everyone on like your gang, especially if you're in like a skirmishing group to where they need to be, and then like especially if you're like
everything.
it's like for smaller stuff, I'm kind of neutral about it. I feel you, but for larger stuff, you know, it's utterly fucking necessary for larger ships like BCs and BS to be competitive. So removing the CPU penalty, I think, is very
current meta, sure, but like
warranted.
in a roaming meta, yeah. But if you don't roam, you don't really need warp speed rigs.
No. Well, I mean even if you're going between, if you're
currently. Even with the CPU penalty, it's just like I think CPU penalty is like it's a really really bad penalty for a really really strong rig. I think it's fitting. Like no one cares about the SIG penalty.
it hits different ships worse. Like if you're trying to put that onto say a Caldari BS that's trying to fit missiles, you're gonna have a really bad time. If you're trying to fit that onto say a Tempest, you're gonna have a pretty bad time. Just some ships are going to have that spare CPU to begin with, and other ships don't. I think it's a very good move on CCP's part to make that rig. Because, I mean, even if you're not looking at the penalties and you're saying that's a really strong rig, those ships are sacrificing rig slots. You know, sacrificing a rig slot is kind of a big deal. That's a penalty in and of itself. That's a very big penalty, especially for when you're looking at, say, a battleship that could get, like, say, loads more tracking, loads more projection, or loads more tank out of it. And like that, when you're looking at a battleship, you're adding like cruisers of extra buffer every Trimark or transverse rig you're throwing on there. I think it's a very good idea. I understand. I really feel like I understand why you're kind of not uncertain about it, just because it is. Yeah, I agree, a very strong rig, and not many people really think about that unless they actually spend most of their gameplay moving between systems and. Like the horrors of warp, just how long it takes, especially in say a battleship.
No, like it isn't even just moving that makes them so strong. It's that it kind of increases your lock speed, and that's what I think most people don't realize. Like I fit warp speed rigs often for lock speed. Like when you warp in on grid, you hear that thump sound when you appear on the overview and stuff, and then it takes around 4 or 5 seconds.
Right, so your deceleration time is increased. Or sorry, decreased because your deceleration...
Exactly, and that's a huge deal. Like, that's amazingly huge deal.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
say you have a tackle, you can shave off a few seconds there just by doing that.
Yep.
Like, say a carrier, I think it takes a carrier like 15 seconds to deaccelerate, which is just massive. But for like a cruiser, it's around 5 seconds, which is why those combat recons are balanced. Like, yeah, they don't have that cloak, but they still have that 5-second decloak delay, kinda, because they have to like land on grid.
Okay, I got some dudes out of Novice in Egmar, 1 Ishkur, so it can't be inside the Novice. I'm gonna head there now.
Of course, they're just signing on.
Oh, there's also Tristan, Griffin, Merlin on Golem Gate just warped somewhere. Let's see.
Okay.
They warped to Planet 11. Strange.
Okay. Yeah, there's quite a sizable group of frigates in here. Looks like they moved from the Novice.
Looks like they're at the Job Observatory or Planet 11. I'm not sure which one.
4 dudes are on scan over there. I'm looking for the... Is the Ishkur still on scan? Yeah. Give a shout if you find anything.
Not at the Job Observatory.
Yep. Griff interest in Merlin. Merlin's some. Oh, I guess
Ishkur scanning towards Dead Space. Merlin just landed on the Novice. Gang's landing on Novice.
Yeah, they all landed here.
They're taking the gate.
I'm sitting at the Novice.
Yeah, I'm here with you. They're taking the gate. It kind of bugs me that if Servertick didn't exist, I'd be able to actually tackle these guys, or have the chance to. I shake my fist at
No,
Servertick.
I don't think it has to do with Servertick, that's it.
I'm pretty sure it does.
I had the guy tell me actually yesterday about how he managed to bump someone as he activated the excavation gate, and then he basically sat there for 20 seconds watching the guy just start aligning, and he had to try to point him, but he couldn't point him for 20 seconds.
Yeah, what I understand about it is once you're in the warp drive active state, the game understands you as being in warp, so you can't be locked and you can't be tackled. Like I think you could still smart bomb the guy, but other than like AoE the guy, but other than that, he's immune.
Too bad you can't smart bomb on acceleration gate.
Oh, that's very true. I forgot about that. Alright, heading over to Golem. From Golem, I'm going to head over to Bospur, see if any of the 7-2 guys are active right now. They're on vacation over in Bospur.
But yeah, like the lock time aspect of warp streaks, I don't really think people think about, and
I definitely don't.
It might be
I mean,
an equally big deal.
Well, it's essentially, I don't think of it in terms of lock speed. I think of it in terms of maneuverability. Like when you're in a bigger ship, I mean, being more reactive once you're entering or exiting from a grid is, very useful. So I don't really think of it in terms of lock speed. Just I think of it in terms of interacting with things on grid.
It kind of has to do with the lock speed too. Like
you're able to lock faster. Yeah.
Yeah, like gives people less time to react, basically.
Yeah.
Not only less time on this scan, but also less time, like, once you land on grid. Especially since you hear that sound effect when you land on grid. So say you land on grid in a cruiser, so it takes 5 seconds to land on grid, and then it takes another 5 seconds to, say, lock a frigate. For a total of 10 seconds. So you can either fit lock speed rigs or warp speed rigs, and both will decrease that time.
Right. However, once you're on grid and once you're fighting people, the lock speed rigs will then help you for fighting on grid if you're locking additional targets.
Oh yeah.
So it's on grid versus off grid performance.
That's just one of the reasons I think that warp speed rigs are really, really, really powerful, and I'm kind of scared that they're basically removing any penalty from it. I mean, I would be happy if they moved it to, say, a power grid penalty or anything.
Well, I mean, if you're really looking at the metagame right now, which is cruisers and smaller, you're not really shaving much time at all when you're putting those rigs onto, say, a frigate or destroyer. You're shaving a little bit off a cruiser. You're shaving loads off of a BC, and you're saving just a huge amount off a battleship, just for how the warp speed formula works for the relative speeds. 3 is as either double or more than 2 on warp speed. So, I don't really anticipate it being a huge effect on the meta, only if people start flying in bigger ships. It gives more people the opportunity to fly in bigger ships and be competitive. Not so much competitive, but it increases the fun factor of those larger ships. It actually makes them mobile enough to be a factor in the current metagame. Okay, you seeing anything in Vosper?
There's an 8-on at the novice inside.
Okay.
Fun. That's it.
That's it? Oh, okay. Alright, heading over Amok.
I mean, even on smaller stuff, they're still useful. Like, being able to outspeed other ships of your class in Warp is really, really powerful. Like,
Sure.
either to land before them and tackle them, or just to run away so they can't tackle you.
Sure. I wonder if the dead terrorist cruiser gang was going for those guys in Hola. It looked like they have a good group for it. Alright, just heading over to Almok right now. I think what I'm going to do, if we can't get a fight, I'm going to head into Sasade. If we can't get a fight, get a decent engagement. I'm going to swap over into a frigate and do a little bit of frigate roaming. I guess I'll just come right back over to the Minotaur space if you guys want to keep on doing that, but I don't think we're going to get much in the terms of content for bigger ships.
It take 1 or take 2 frigate?
I'll be in like a factory frigate, Tech 1.
So I'll outspeed you in Warp with my Cinnaball.
Absolutely. Unless I'm in a Dramiel.
That could work.
Talking about Tom Cruise or something like that.
Dream sniping ship.
Symbol, yeah. Well, it's a fantastic gang ship just for that speed.
It's like, Fintar usually flies like a frigate of some sort, so what can it like have that will like hard counter basically any frigate and keep up with it?
Well, as long as he doesn't go into, say, a smaller novice, sure.
Oh yeah. Just having me like constantly behind him would probably just suck him out.
Alright. I'm just going to start heading over to Dix and swap into a frigate. If you guys want to do the same, feel free. Astronautistic, I'm flying with TikTok out of Periphery and Mai, who is a member of UHurt. TikTok is the guy that's been talking the most.
So what do you think about the 2 high slots on the new tactical destroyers?
I'm not a fan. I think it's adding power to the ship, not detracting, and I think it was another aspect of it, a very important aspect. If you're just looking at guns, it increased the heat stability of just overheating your guns on that ship tremendously by dropping the gun count from 6 to 2. I do like the ability to, say, do RR stuff on it. I think the utility of, say, double newts is a bit over much. Overall, I think the 6 slot plus 1 utility was the more balanced and better way to go about it.
I'm not sure I mind the 2 utility newts, because they will mostly like be effective against frigates and they are destroyers, so they should just wreck every single frigate, right? That's kind of the role of destroyers.
Well, I think probably the number 1 usage you're going to see, other than, say, like, you know, a launcher and something else, would be RR. I think that's what comes to most people's mind immediately. Is, I can do like an RR sequel game. That'd be amazing.
We have already Periphery has been doing our Fessers actually to great success. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the resistance is going to be ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, the big thing for me is essentially you're adding utility to a ship that doesn't need it. It's already incredibly all the T3s that have been released so far.
T3s are all about utility, aren't they? Though.
Yes, I mean, so adding more is just pretty absurd. You're giving it even more heat stability when it has a heat damage bonus. It has a heat bonus to it, and I feel it's just not warranted. I mean, I really do sympathize with CCP when they're trying to figure out a way to deal with this oversized prop issue by affecting fitting. But if you affect fitting, you're the first thing that's going to come off is long range guns, and you still have short range guns that are doing just fine with their fitting. So
Yeah,
I understand that. I don't know really how to address that. I think the biggest way to address that is just to say address the mass and the agility and make it less viable to be running with an oversized prop in the first place, which they did.
So,
And
yeah,
I think
I've
that
been
was a really
checking
good change that way.
I've been checking EFT and such, but do they actually have enough grid to fit both guns and 2 newts?
With the change?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So initially, before they did the drop in guns, what it meant is that you'd be adding on another Tech 2 ACR. One of the fittings that Gorski linked to me, I think it had one ACR and a MAPC on a Seeple, and it was, I think, a close range gun fit. I don't know what the fitting is going to be like for long range guns on 10mm NAB, so I haven't done all my homework myself. But I do know that for short range gun fits that they're going to be more or less fine.
If you had just enough grid to fit, say, one newt and then a probe launcher.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
manage to balance it that way. So
unfortunately, how do you balance that when you're looking at, say, autocannons, where the difference in fitting between, say, 125s and 150s is, like a 50% increase in, 100% increase in power grid. Like when you're trying to look at fitting on, say, like an autocannon ship, and then you're trying to make it
biggest guns with 2 newts. You should have to make sacrifices.
Yeah, okay. Then how do you balance that with trying to make it able to fit artillery? Are you just going to put like a fitting bonus on for long range guns onto those ships?
Could.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, I've seen stranger bonuses.
Sure. And maybe that should be the way to go about it. But I mean, just to answer your initial question and go back to it, I don't like it. I don't necessarily think it's the right way to go about it. But the Gnosis is.
I think they should be really, really good anti-frigate ships.
I think I picked it up
like
after.
destroyers aren't for stealth at
I
all.
moved it. I moved it over from
Really
Jita
bad.
to
It's
Dodex
like
C.
3 mids. And
I would
2 low slots.
be totally down for flying another Gnosis though.
Kind of boring. But destroyers
For which
have
ship, sorry?
bonus and stuff like that. Oh, Thrasher.
What about the Thrasher? What's the issue with it?
No, I'm just saying they aren't very versatile. They have like a bunch of guns, but they don't have many more slots. Like,
What's kind of
medium
interesting
low
about
slots.
that is traditionally they're probably the most versatile destroyer. They're able to do long range, short range, and still have tackle and still have a bit of tank. They can do armor. They can do shield. I think they're still like that, but the added drone destroyers did a lot to displace them, and then the missile destroyers kind of removed them as kind of a long range threat. So now most Thrashers you see are artillery. I still think they're decent, say, gank platforms. I was actually EFTing a whole tanked Thrasher and seeing what that looked like. But I don't really know what to say about T1 destroyers other than I don't think they're necessarily a bad spot. I just think they've just fallen out of disfavor for no real good reason.
Yeah. No, I just think it's difficult to fit both, like, tank and tackle and all that stuff, say on Thrasher. You kind of have to choose between tank, tackle, and DPS.
Yeah, so, like, for example...
And
Well,
pick
give me a couple examples for what you're talking about.
You could fit the Thrasher with the microweb driver, like prop mod, scram web, and in your load can damage control and plate or gyro.
Uh-huh. And what's the issue with that?
Or you could have like a prop mod, scram, and shield extender, and like gyro and damage control. You kind of
Okay.
have to choose between like damage, tank, and tackle.
Yeah. I don't see the
They're not
issue with
very
that, though.
versatile like that. No, it's not an issue, but
Okay.
Tech 3 destroyers, they don't really have that issue at all.
Oh,
They
okay,
can-
sure.
They can fit everything.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I mean, it's... yeah, T3 destroyers, they just have... They have everything. They have literally everything. They have the resist, they have, like, great stats, they have great attributes, they have great speed, they have great capacitor, they have great fitting, they have all the mode swaps, they have, like, a double damage bonus, and it's a damage bonus to the volley. It's like, they have everything. They have literally everything that you could possibly want out of a
They
ship.
even have like a random pro bonus, which is actually kind of
Yes, exactly. It's just ridiculous. And it's cool, it's fun, it's different, but it's also overpowered. Mostly because of the oversized prop. I think that's the number one issue. I mean, you can have an amazing ship, but if it's not super duper survivable from that oversized prop, I think it's going to be like, for example, one thing I'm curious about is how, say, the Galente T3 destroyer is going to do when it doesn't have like the velocity bonus. It has just the MWD bonus. It's probably not going to be anywhere near as valued, especially since it also has a buffer bonus. It doesn't have the active tanking ability of, say, a Confessor or a Steeple.
Yeah. I really wonder what CCB were thinking when they made those.
This is very
destroyers. Like, what's their role, purpose?
Oh, they definitely don't have a role. Like, their purpose is to kick ass. The role just exists. So let's throw the players a bone. Let's throw those old players that have been playing the game for a long time, something new, something different, kind of shake up the game. And I think if this line of ships is an experiment towards that end, I think it's a success. Now they just need to figure out how to rein it in, and then kind of go from there. And I'm very happy for it. I'm very excited for it. It's kind of like with Ishtars. I'm sick to death of it, but it's something that's cool and neat that's been added to the game. Which is when you look at new ships and stuff that's been added to the game, this is probably the most fun of those been added in a very long time.
Yeah.
All right, I have Binder saying that the 10 MAB is no longer worth it.
Really, what I think is sad about the Sweeples and stuff is that I actually have a few combat sabers just lying around that are totally worthless.
Oh yeah, like on top of everything, when you're looking at interdictors versus T3 destroyers, T3 destroyers have insurance. The interdictors do not. Like on top of everything.
It did get the buffed insurance, didn't they? The Tech 2 ships.
No, it's if you try to insure an interdictor, you're probably going to get a payout of, it's going to cost 5 and payout of maybe 15 or so mil, something like that.
Yeah.
And for the destroyers, it's like it costs 10 and you get a payout of like 32, something like that.
So the one thing you can do with the interdictor that you can't do with well, you can, but it's not like built in, is the 1 AU warp speed. Like you get 1 AU more. It's 5.5 instead of 4.5. But I'm sure people with, say, a hyper special rig is still way, way, way stronger.
Yeah, and you have an extra rig slot to put that on if you want.
Yep. Also, that black saber, though, it's really nice looking.
Oh yeah, dude. It used to be like just jet black way back in the day. It was one of my favorite ships. This is the one I flew like when I was a Nublet in Syndicate. Back in the Nano era, it was great. Okay.
Ooh, just left fleet.
Yeah, I'm closing out Ice Boxer and running just single client. Not gonna run with links for frigate stuff. So you don't need to see that stuff. Oops. Should still connect.
Oh, you're still using that X file?
The what, sorry? Yes, I am. I use the launcher to update, that's it.
Yeah.
I
At some
do...
point, I just gave up and started using the launcher.
The launcher.
Instead.
Yeah, I mean, I use the launcher on my laptop. That's about it. On my PC, I still set up individual shortcuts.
I still don't understand why they made that launcher in the first place. Like, I'm sure there's some technical reason for it, but I don't get it.
I know there were a number of reasons for it. One of them is announcements.
That was announcements on the old launcher too, though. Like, way back in the days. You had it.
Okay, if you compare the launcher and then the announcements as they had as pop-ups in the old I guess you can call it launcher, the old login screen.
I like
They-
it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the logins, the launcher I think does a better job of conveying a lot of information. It's more better designed for it. There's probably technical reasons I don't know about, but I think information is one of the reasons that conveying information to players is one of the major reasons. Okay, let's do some Fire Teal stuff. Ooh, what's the fit on the mock? That is actually a dual rep active tank that I fit up a long time ago, and then henceforth have kind of let sit and gather dust because I'm just trying to make it a little bit more Minotaur. I'm probably going to convert it into a microfit. Mentioning that. Oh, do I not have rockets in here? Ooh, I need to put rockets in there. Let's put some rockets in there.
How often does that mobile micro jump drive work for you in a frigate? Like, I assume you're using it to jump on people?
No, I use it mostly defensively. So, the way I use the mobile structures is that let's say I see a slicer in a novice. I might go before in a ship that would not otherwise be able to take it unless I get the jump on him, and it allows me to be more aggressive. So, if he's at range, I immediately plunk that down, start shooting him with my gun, TDing him, whatever, and then I can leave instead of him pointing me for until downtime. It also allows me
Does it
to
have enough hit points to survive that long, though?
Well, especially with this Fire Tail, if I'm going up against a turret ship, the only way they're going to shoot and destroy the only way Slicer would destroy the MJD is getting in scram range. But no, it does not. So like a Condor could kill a MJD with light missiles before it would anchor.
You know, I've been thinking about depot tanking. Fit a battleship with no tank and just like cargo expanders or something, and just bring all the depots and just drop depots, and everyone will shoot a depot.
Yeah.
And then you just drop a new depot and a new one and a new one.
Yeah, no, I know what you
The
mean.
entire fleet will just shoot the depots instead of you.
Yeah. So I mean, I've actually legitimately done that, not intentionally, but just just like dropping the depot and scooping it in, dropping the depot and scooping it in. But it's it depends entirely on the caliber people are shooting. Some people don't even think about it. Other people do. Like for the most part, like I'd say 3/4 of players do not shoot the MJD. Then if I go into space like with Rifferlings or people that actually, maybe either watch my channel or have been exposed to it in the past, they'll, maybe like an Exodus or something, they would actually shoot the MJD.
Oh yeah. But for me, any deployable is kind of like a Falcon. It's like instantly primary. I don't care about anything else.
Well, it gives you a kill mail,
the
so
deployable
you got a kill mail whore. Got to pad those stats.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I forgot the drop, but I'm not too worried about that. But I mean, if you have the cargo for it, I see no reason not to have an MGD. Because I mean, even if it gets you out of say 1 out of 10 pickles that you get yourself into, it's such a cheap module or cheap structure. Why not? Why not throw it in your cargo if you have no other purpose for that cargo? Loot? What do you mean?
Yeah, loot. I try to fly ships without cat looters and stuff, just so I can get all the loot.
All loot? Okay. Well, you can always eject them though. They're so cheap.
Yeah, maybe, but like you eject how much? Yeah, like 2 million ISK or something like that, right?
They're well, if you buy them, say Jita, they're like 1 mil. If you go anywhere else, it can be ridiculous. But I find either they have enough utility to them or enough comedy value to them that it's always worthwhile for me to put them into my cargo. So I will freely admit to like probably at least half or more of the reason for me to have them in my cargo is just showmanship. But I mean, there is some practical application to them as well.
I just love that loot. Actually, it's good to loot. I don't know how many billions I've earned from just looting.
Oh yeah, that's the Gorski car method of making money. Flying in a fleet with a bunch of people that fit shiny stuff and looting all their wrecks as they die.
Yeah, basically. Like, I fly a Garmin and it's like kill a frigate here and there, and like suddenly have 20 million ISK.
Yep.
Suddenly have a new Garmer.
It can be worth it. Yeah, exactly that, Dying Crow. It can be worth it. Just MJDs in general, they can be incredibly entertaining when they work. You know, they're not always going to work. I'd say, 2/3 of the time they're not going to work, but it's still a very incredible, very fun module and very fun structure to use. I don't know if I have the fit saved on the Macarial. It's kind of interesting to me because I don't fit MJD on it. I fit it more for on-grid performance. No, I don't have it saved. But instead of having an MJD, so it's a dual, it's dual rep. I think it's like all its low slots are devoted to tank. In the mids, I have a single cap booster, MJD, AB, it's scram, scram web. And then I think I'm rocking auto cannons and either a smart, I think it's a smart bomb. And the afterburner on the Macarial, it actually gets you going pretty fast. It's essentially like running an afterburner on a cruiser. The idea with the IEB is that it allows you to deal with smaller ships that try to get under your gun.
Undock and he didn't do anything, and then invulnerability broke and I tried to kill it, but he docked just as I shot the first alpha.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I wonder if that gave me a kill right.
It does. If you shoot it, yep. You don't have to kill it.
Oh yeah, I did get the kill right.
Yes.
That sucks.
Yeah, yep. You don't have to kill the pods, they just have to shoot you, that's it.
Well, guess I won't be going to high sec for a while.
It's not that bad! Despite what everyone will tell you.
No,
I mean,
no, I have a criminal timer.
Oh, yes, the criminal timer, okay. That is actually that bad, yes.
And that's bad, because every time I shoot someone, though, that will refresh, right? If I get the suspect timer. Or I would get the suspect timer.
Sorry, what will refresh?
Like, I won't get a suspect timer anymore. It will just refresh the criminal timer.
For shooting, only if you shoot capsules. If you're shooting...
No, if I shoot anything now, like, as long as you have a criminal timer, I believe, like, if you shoot anything else, it will just refresh the criminal timer instead of killing you.
That's something I know nothing about. That's an element of Crime Watch that I don't have much experience in. If anything, that sounds pretty BS to me.
It's kind of stupid, but...
Yeah, it's... Well, I mean, that's actually... I mean, that's something I think that Master Plan would actually consider changing. I'd love to give him more ammunition to relook at Crime Watch. If only
in fact,
just
I'll go shoot my alt right now and see what happens.
Go shoot the alt. Yes. Put out one acolyte and shoot his pod.
No, just shoot the ship and see what happens.
Oh,
should
yes,
be getting another suspect timer, but I doubt I will. Yep, just refresh the criminal timer. That sucks.
Okay. See, that's good in a way, just because the more bullshit.
I won't be able to go to Isaac for like the next hour or so.
Yeah, I mean, the more bullshit that I can find in Crime Watch, the more reason that CCP has to revisit it. Just I really hate that logistics does not inherit sentries. I hate that. I hate that about logistics with a passion.
Yeah, do you know how, if I shoot someone and I, bounce off and then bounce back, and I can continue shooting them, is that because they get the limited engagement with me?
No, you do not get a limited engagement. So the way it works is, the way Crime Watch in general works, it's all dependent on your security status hits. In low sec anyway, when you're looking at sentry aggression. So if you take a security status hit and it's associated with an action that will give you a suspect timer, then if you leave the gate, come back, and you shoot them again, you're not going to take another security status hit. So you will not get sentries again. However, if you kill them and then start shooting their pod and they never shot you back, it's still like an illegal target. Now you're going to get sentries again for shooting the pod because you just took another sec hit.
So that means I can shoot them for 15 minutes, or how long can I shoot them?
So you can shoot them as long as you keep that. Yeah, so every time you shoot him and you're going to refresh that suspect timer, you can shoot them as long as you refresh that 15-minute timer. So okay,
but that's a individual timer. So if I shoot him and I have a 15-second or 15-minute timer, and I shoot someone else later and refresh my suspect, I still have that 15-minute timer again.
Only so it's per player. So it's per. So let's say you shot someone. 10 minutes later, you shot someone else, and then 10 minutes after that, you're gonna look to shoot that original player. This is 20 minutes after you initially shot them. You haven't refreshed that timer. you're now going, when you shoot him, and if he's still an illegal target, you're now going to get another security status hit, and you're going to get sentries. So it's per every instance that would cause you to get a security status penalty.
Ah, that's really good to know. I've been wondering about that. I've been meaning to try it for like the last 2 months, but I never got around to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really wonky system. It's something that has pretty much no official or much unofficial documentation about. It's something just like people that live in LowSec learn kind of like tribal knowledge and then pass on, word of mouth. And I think if people understood the CrimeWatch system better, people would complain more about it, but because there's so little people that actually say live in LowSec and care about LowSec and do stuff in LowSec, I don't think there's ever going to be enough traction, enough player feedback to push for there to be any sort of change with the CrimeWatch system. Unless something that's like glaring that's broken. And he can convince a dev to make it his pet project. Which is pretty much not going to happen. I think there was a lot of legacy code issues with CrimeWatch that made it a very big undertaking when they did it. MGDs would be so much cooler if when Scram would not cause the cooldown. Oh man, so Rambo's mentioning he thinks MGDs would be cooler if you got scrambled. It wouldn't cause a cooldown on MGD. That would be so broken.
Oh god.
Can you imagine that? Just like nuding all the in a nude dummy with an MJD, just nuding everything off.
It would be really cool because they would abuse it to all hell. It would be the new Garmer basically.
Like I always look at the MGD and I think about that in this fashion where, oh man, if that wasn't back in the game where battlecruisers and battleships were the meta, this module, people would rage out. It would be Incarna all over again. Like, why are you giving battleships this, in battlecruisers this amazing blink ability? Aren't they bad enough already? What the hell? But it's kind of curious how the metagame kind of has made this incredibly potent module kind of a nicety and not so much something that people really think of as in competitive light.
That's actually really funny for me. I started at the worst possible time. So when I started,
when'd you start the game?
With frigates and stuff, and that was in the battlecruiser era.
Oh,
and then just as the battlecruiser era ended, I got my first battlecruiser.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I also have the unfortunate trait to myself where I really hate new ships just as they're entering into the meta. Say T3 destroyers. I don't want to fly them. Just because everyone's going to be flying them, I want to fly something that might counter them, or
fly the hard counter.
Exactly. So, I don't get to fly the ship in its prime, when it's all broken and unbalanced.
Yeah.
I don't think to this day I ever flew a oversized prop T3 cruiser. I never got to experience that. I only experienced that through either friends that are flying it in a gang or trying to deal with it.
Yeah, Tech 3 is basically the only thing I haven't messed around with. I've basically flown literally everything but Tech 3's Titans and Alliance Women ships. I really wonder how they're going to... Hopefully they're not going to look at the Tech 3 destroyers.
You cut off. What they're going to try to do what?
Oh, rebalance the Tech 3 destroyers, or cruiser men.
Oh,
they're going to do that at some point, right?
Yes, it's pretty high on their radar.
Hopefully they won't do it like the Tech 3 destroyers.
The thing that I've heard, the thing I've heard as a very common thing about them to do is take away the rigs.
Oh yeah, I'd like that. I would like to and then remove the skill point penalty.
Do you have a voice activation sort of thing going on with your mic?
No, it's just my push to talk button that acts up sometimes. I should try to look into that.
I don't know if you want to go into voice activation or something, but you keep cutting off.
No.
Does Zamora have a decent frigate lineup for PvP? Yes, they absolutely do. Both for T1 frigates, for faction frigates, and for Tech 2 frigates, they have some decent frigates. Decent as any other race. The only thing they don't really do is super duper damage
I would
output,
like to
but
make them like
they're
have
still
them
very
much
good.
cheaper and remove the skill point penalty, but like make them much weaker too.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the direction that CCP is going with like taking away penalties, taking away reasons for players not to go in PvP. I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of the SP penalty. Being cheaper, I don't know about that. I kind of like them expensive, but I think the only way you're gonna need to get away with them becoming
If they're
inexpensive
expensive,
is
they
if you
also kind of have to be broken. It
Exact-
kind of goes together.
yeah. So if they're gonna be cheaper, they need to have a lot less power.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see. Like, I would like to see them slightly weaker than Tech 2 cruisers in like
Yes.
specific roles. Like, I would like them to have slightly less DPS than say a hack and like slightly less tank than a.
That was
hit.
the original idea that was pitched to players. That never happened. Yeah.
And then you can like pick and choose a bit. Like you say you can have a webbing bonus and like slightly less than hick tank, or like webbing bonus and slightly less than hack tank.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I think it would be nice if you like removed the what's it called, the subsystem slots, so you could basically fit any combination of subsystems, and like just redo all the subsystems around that.
So you'd have to come up with some kind of framework for how that would work. Because I mean, the way that they have subsystems identified into different types of categories makes a lot of sense. I don't see how you would be able to kind of remove that categorization system.
Well, say you had like a base layout with like slot layout and stuff, and then say you had three subsystem slots instead, and then you could have like any three subsystems.
Okay,
and
so
maybe,
instead
do
of-
slight modifications.
I think
So
I
you could
think I see what you're saying. So instead of say have like a prop mode and prop defense, all that sort of stuff, you could have say 3 defense.
Yeah, or
So you could have like an armor amount and then armor resist and then a rep amount or something like that, and just beat this ridiculous brick tank.
Yeah, maybe. Probably
Okay.
shouldn't be too ridiculous either. Like, say you just have the base shape. Say it's like have the stats of a rupture or something, and then you could like add a defensive slot that gave you, say, I don't know, 3% armor resist per level, and then
I mean-
like one that gives you. Like, it should be slightly weaker than Tech 2 resist. Like
I think I see what you mean. So like what you could do, say, is have like a base bonus, like say have a damage bonus, and let's say make it so it's modular, so or not modular, but it's has a bit of versatility to it. So like Tengu would have a missile and a hybrid damage bonus, and then from there you could pick and choose like between 3 different subsystems, and then you can throw on a defense, or you could throw on a hybrid range, and then you can throw on like a speed bonus or something like that. Make it a kiting boat, something like that. Okay, I think I see where you're coming from.
And yeah, like you could probably do that and make a really, really ridiculous brick tank with like 3 defensive slots, but then you wouldn't be able to do anything but just be a brick tank.
Yeah,
Like you wouldn't have any webbing bonus, you wouldn't have any like weapon bonus or anything like that.
yeah. And I mean, the way I'm thinking of it in terms is like of Tech 2 ships, where you have essentially 4 bonuses, right? And one of them would
Yeah.
be static, but I mean, it's static in the form of you could only do. I mean, you'd still have some versatility to it in that of weapon choices, which I would like to see still intact. I don't know how you would say balance that with ships that have drone and weapon bonuses, so they need to have like this ridiculous gank potential on those ships, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought though. I definitely
Say
hate.
for a Tengu, like your base shape would be the Imoa with no bonuses and no like what's it called, hard points, and then you
Okay.
could have like offensive hard point or like an offensive just a sub that gives you, say, blasters, a blaster bonus of 5% rate of fire, and like 4 blaster hard points, for example,
Okay.
or like a defensive slot or defensive sub that gave you, say, 1 more mid slot and like a resist bonus or something. And you have like cover drops, cloak, and all those fun stuffs. I think that would be like really fun because then you can just pick and choose any combination. I think you would have to remove like the 5 subs. I don't think you could do that with 5 subs. I think that would be too much. I think you could do it with like 3 subs.
It sounds fun. I mean, one thing I really dislike in this game it's a style of thing, but I hate scripts. I really feel like that should just be like something you can just change a configuration of the module. You shouldn't have to buy a separate unit of ammo for the modules. And I kind of feel the same way about subsystems. I wish you could just configure it. Whether or not you have to go to a station to do it, whichever way you decide to do it, that's fine. In space or out of space or whatever, if you need some sort of like a fleet hangar or whatever to reconfigure it. But I feel that like subsystems should kind of be baked into the whole, and you should just be able to tweak it instead of having to go out and buy these components to what amounts to an incomplete ship. It bothers me.
Well, I think for subsystem that kind of works because, like, say you are interdiction nullified, you basically have this like huge warp core stabilizer or something in your ship, like that you just place there, and then you remove that for something else, like more speed or something. I don't know. So for subsystems, I kind of see like that you basically rebuild your ship, which is kind of what you do. Like your entire ship like changes look and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Scripts and stuff. That's kind of like a hack.
It's very archaic. Yes, it's very archaic. So, one thing I actually did not read too much into. I read kind of this about halfway into it. Then I had to actually do some work at the time. Was that recent post on Reddit for link changes, and you mentioned that it was pretty much like the same thing that you posted months ago. So what was the actual changes that were recommended, and do you want to talk about that at all?
Disconnected from your channel.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll have to try to remember what I just said. Yeah, he said something about nerfing links, first of all, like just the normal link, but adding a second type of link that they called chronolink, which would basically be targeted at the ship. So you could target that at a friendly ship, and then you would give that specific ship like a specific boost.
Okay.
And also merging all the links, which I also really like.
So, what do you mean by merging all the links?
Like, I'll say all the skirmish links, just one link.
So it's one module?
Yeah.
And that single module would have the abilities of all 3 skirmish links?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you would have essentially a AoE effect that's significantly less potent than the focus effect. Is kind of what I'm hearing right now. Is that correct?
That's a different link, though. Like, you have the normal links like you have now, that which is just much weaker, and then you have another link that you will also have to fit like a specific link. Like, I don't know, it's another example, but yeah, just another module that gives really, really strong bonus, but focused. I wonder if you could do that like a hit bubble with like a focused script. That's kind of cool. That would only be targeted at one ship. But the problem I see with that, like, of course, the reason he wants that is so, like, if you're on grid with someone, you can give, like, other people on grid, like, a massive boost. But the problem I see with that is that you will still have really broken links, but you will limit it to someone. Like, say I'm skirmishing around with my Suniball without links, and you have that focused script on, say, a Stiletto. He said that the rate of fire, or like the cycle time of that link, would be something like 10 seconds with like all level 5 skills. That scepter can suddenly like hit the Micro Warp Jab at 10k a second for 10 seconds, which is enough to like burn 100k. So he will have those massive boosts like to sig reduction and like speed increase and all that, which will basically make skirmishing impossible in my opinion. Because he can use that one scepter, and that one scepter can just use those links to catch me.
Oh, so he's
And then
talking. He doesn't want there to be like the command ship being limited, or the command ship and the BCs and the T3s being limited to links. It'd be any ship.
No. But that like command ship would then focus, say, the skirmish focused link on, say, a stiletto.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought you said the stiletto would be doing the linking.
No, but like I'm saying that's why the flaw I see in his idea, basically.
Well, it's what the number one thing that I would like to see happen with links is for them to be something that players would actively do and actively use and want to use and find interesting to use. Like, for
Yeah.
example, like running guns and having heat management on guns. Like, adding heat to the game was one of the number one good ideas that came out in recent years for adding fun to PvP. It added like a risk reward element to module management, which is very cool, very fun. Works very well.
Even though you just said that you don't like scripts, that's why I suggested that links had scripts.
Well, I mean, a script-like effect, that's fine. Just I don't like
Yeah.
there being like this little piece of ammo you have to throw in there, and like
Yeah.
more often than not, it's not because you couldn't afford it. It's not because you couldn't you weren't in a market to acquire. It's just because you didn't think to put it in your cargo. It's just very frustrating. Hey, Darwin, how's it going, man?
Yeah. But my primary concern with any like link rebalance is that I can't skirmish around bigger blobs anymore.
Yeah.
Like if they have a command ship in the middle of their blob with Logi and like all that fun stuff, I can't touch their link ship. There's just no way.
Yep.
Because it's easy to protect. Like my goal is to kill tackle and then like slowly work my way up until like I've killed everyone basically.
Yeah, no, that's always the problem when people just say throw it on grid, is that now you're making it, if you're looking at like small, like David versus Goliath just got that much bigger.
Yep.
Another thing that's
And,
equally interesting about that is when you're looking at it on a very large scale, if you're forcing links to be on grid, then they may as well not be there just because they're going to get destroyed. They're going to get volleyed off field.
Well, you need redundancy, so like instead of having one link ship, you would have say 5,
Okay.
10.
So I wonder
And
if
when
if
you
you're
get
looking at
to
that and you're
speed-
looking at equal numbers versus equal numbers of like 100-man fights versus 100-man fights, is it just going to become kind of like instead of logistics, it's links? Oh, they killed all our links. I guess we're going to have to leave now. If there's no
Yeah.
nothing that they're fighting over, they're just fighting for the sake of fighting. And that's
basically-
another. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah, that
talking
was
over you.
basically the center of my my idea. Like, I wanted links, like, I didn't want people to run links because, like, they had links, but I wanted people to run, like, a command ship because it also gave that link bonus. Like, I think you should primarily fly a command ship because command ships are cool, not because they can use links. Like, links
Well,
should just be a bonus.
I don't think
Powerful
links shouldn't be. The way I'd like to see it is kind of what you're talking about with like the focus kind of link effect. It should be kind of similar to say running a recon or logistics ship. It should be like I don't think it's a bad thing for that ship to be focused on, say, doing some sort of supportive effect to its fleet or to its its fleet members. But the way that is right now, that's implemented right now, one, is not fun, and two, it's very difficult to balance. It's very difficult. Like it's either you have it or you don't sort of effect right now.
Yeah. I mean, people say it's just a force multiplier like Recon's or Lodgy, but like I don't have any trouble fighting against, say, Falcons or Lodgy or anything. I just like skirmish around and eventually I'll get some kills. Or like sometimes die horribly, but that's besides the point. But like, links, they just boost everything. So if I'm fighting a brawly ship with my Kaiju ship, that brawly ship suddenly has my speed, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can compare to normal force multipliers, because normal force multipliers you can work around. Say, like I'm playing on my Garmer and you have a Griffin on field. What I'll do is I'll just burn away and then burn in and like fire a few missiles at you and then burn out of range again. And just
Right. So I mean, a force
die.
multiplier has a limitation to it. So like logistics has a range limitation to it. Recon ships, not only do they have range, but they also tend to be fairly squishy. So I mean, even though you know, it's many people versus just you or just you and friends or whatever. If they have an advantage of, they have the additional force multiplier ships of like recons or logistics. If you fly well, you can deal with it. Like, whereas right now with off-grid boosting, there's no amount of piloting that's going to get rid of off-grid links. There's no dance you can do with your ship that's going to, like, take away their link bonus. It's like, oh my god, look at his moves. And that'll be it. Unfortunately.
And to a degree, I think that's fine. Just the links should be balanced around that, so they should be much weaker.
Ooh.
Like, I think the goal should be to make links, like, if fleet with links, fightable without links of your own. They should give you an edge, but not something really big.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like drugs.
Well, think about it this way, though. You know, for all the people who are saying, let's just get rid of links. Just being in a fleet is going to give you a raw hit point bonus. It's going to give you a raw scan res bonus. If you have Mind Link, it gives you like 25% more hit points or 25% more agility. It's a huge benefit just to be in a fleet with someone. Is that not enough? It's pretty big.
And that's also what he talked about. Like, he actually got the numbers, and he found out that you basically get an officer ENM for free or something like that with the resist rig or resist link, and like high grade snakes and high grade. It wasn't even free high grade halos. It's like 50% better than high grade halos for sig reduction.
Yeah, it's much more beneficial to have gang links than it is to have implants. Yep, that's true.
Well, these snakes, high grade snakes, are basically identical to the like perfect speed link.
Yeah,
they're basically identical. And that's really, really broken. Like, as you said, and as I have been saying too, you basically get like billions and billions of ISK in equipment, and like you can't even use that many implants at once. But if you could, like, it'd be something like 20 billion ISK in implants and equipment for basically 500 million ISK on another ship that's off grid that like you can't touch. I just hope that they give enough like tears and this.
Close.
Did you win?
I got him into low structure, then he just started orbiting me again.
Never mind.
Yeah. No, like this is the second Dramul I've fought that's like that super fast armor fit. I don't know if it was double web. It may have been. No, I don't think it was. I was being able to rubber band more effectively, but it's just like the TD with range is not doing anything. I think I just need to suck it up and do tracking and see if that has any effect. It was a much more competitive than the first time I tried doing that against like a similar
they do
circumstance.
have a really mean tracking bonus. I'm not sure how much that will help you.
It probably won't. Like like the TD is just not really doing anything in that fight.
Yeah,
and the Dramul's
it's basically a bigger, scarier Firetail. So.
Yes, exactly. And another thing I'm not really sure about is if the guy had snakes or not. If he had snakes, there would be literally no contest. So I don't think he had snakes. So I was able to actually rubber band a few times to get some really good artillery volleys off.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this, but I feel like I shouldn't take on Dramules in the Firetail, which is.
So do you manually pilot when you fly that?
Oh yeah.
Do you just keep at range?
Oh, I mean, in that fight, yes. Usually I use keep at range. Usually that's like the correct choice against most turret ships. But the Dramule is one of the few ships where it's going to outpace you drastically. So all I was doing in that fight is essentially, pretty much doing a keep at range. And the moment he starts to overtake me, I start approaching him, and not approaching him, but clicking towards him. And and pushing past him and doing a rubber band effect where he has to approach me again. And I was just doing that over and over and over and trying to keep my transversal down.
Yeah, I like to fly my Phantasm, and what I see is really important is like you can't just, even though you outspeed them, you can't just keep at range. Like I just look at them and manually click in their direction so I match their like transversal and try to match the speed.
So when you're trying to match transversal, how are you doing this mechanically? Run me through matching transversal.
So basically, first I look at their speed, and then I just manually set my speed on the speed bar to match the speed, and then I see in which direction they're moving, and then I just double click in that direction.
Okay, so when you're looking at which direction they're going, how are you looking at them? Tell me mechanically how are you looking at them?
The look at button.
Okay, so you're hitting look at. All right, so what I'm trying to get at here is one thing I've discovered after watching a video recently that I did not know was the case is if you do look at and then you start putting in double click commands for manual piloting, it will move your ship in that direction relative to where the ship you're looking at. I did not know that for like a solid 8 years.
Yeah, that's really useful. Like yesterday, I think I was fighting a Retribution Conventions with my Phantasm. I think it was a Retribution, and at first I was like really lazily just keeping at range, and I got a bunch of grazing hits, and then I was like, this guy isn't dying fast enough. We're right next to CSAT, and he's probably just backfending right now. So I started to just manually pilot to match his transversal, and I just got like penetrating hits all the time and just melted.
Yeah.
Such a huge difference.
Yeah, manual piloting for matching transversal is huge. I mean, it doesn't make a biggest difference. It depends on like how many ship classes down you're shooting. So like if you're in a battleship shooting at a cruiser, it's going to make a huge difference. If you're in a battleship shooting at a frigate, you're going to have a hard time.
No. I actually had that Mercurial. I have Mercurial. I made that just for that. Like one day I was like, I should like make a ship just dedicated to matching transversal. So that's a Mercurial with armor Mercurial with AB and a web and mute. So and I just tested it on Singularity, and I could easily hit the frigates, like just wreck frigates with 800 millimeters just by matching transversal.
Okay. So in a similar circumstance to you, I was running around. Okay, so here's the difference though. When I was very similar, like put into that situation with an afterburner, scram web, Mercurial taking on frigates, I had like 3+ webs on me, so I couldn't match trans. Whereas, I guess if you're looking at your kind of circumstance, you're not talking about having a whole bunch of frigates on top of you.
Yeah, that's actually why I want to try a Nightmare. Nightmare with like dual web or something, because I think even like if you have all the webs in the world on you, you'll still like outspeed them.
Well, you're not going to outspeed them, but between the tracking bonus, double web, and the AB bonus, you'll have enough speed.
Anything.
Really? You think so?
Scram web.
So with an afterburner, with no links or anything like that, you're essentially going to be going about 900 to 1k per sec on a Nightmare without any bling in your head or off grid or whatever. So it's kind of like your basic MWD speed on the battleship. So you're kind of like a slow frigate afterburner wise.
So with links and snakes, because that's what I run, I go 1500 with like a Nightmare with 2 nanos, no 1 nano.
Yep, that makes sense.
I'm just going to apply all the webs in the world.
The problem so it comes down to this though, and this is what I'm talking about between a battleship shooting a frigate. Even though you might have very similar speeds, and you can minimize that transversal velocity by matching speed, you're still going to have that massive difference between the signature resolution on your guns and the signature radius on target. It's essentially like having 1/10 of your tracking of what you should think you should have on your tracking. So even though like you can line it up, and you might still you're going to start to get glancing hits. You might still get good hits, and for a battleship gun shooting a frigate, you're gonna kill some stuff. It's still going to be a huge uphill battle that is almost as luck dependent as it is skill dependent.
So a Nightmare with like all the webs applied to it. I'll even do it without links and snakes.
Okay.
Just because like
it's 3 webs. I mean, at that point you're kind of into stacking penalty
like
hell.
Way too many webs. I have like 10 webs just
10
because
webs.
Stacking penalty is its thing. It's going 90 meters a second.
Okay.
And I'm just using a Rifter without any snakes or anything, without the prop mod, because you have like newts and stuff.
Oh, okay.
87. So you will be able to just match the transversal of the frigate without.
Assuming you can shut off the prop. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, if they like are not bad, they will just manually pile it around you to like remove that, or at least make it really hard, because you still have trouble with your agility. Like that's the main problem. Like if you have to constantly just move around and stuff, you will have trouble with your agility. So you'll just be slower than them. But if you have 10 webs on you, I'm sure just one of them are bad, and you can just one-shot that one guy, and then just keep going.
Okay. I'm interested in seeing the practical application of this. So, I mean, if anyone had experience in this, I think Micah would be a good person to talk to about that. You should poke him about.
He's kind of mad at me.
Oh, he's mad at
likes me.
Why is he mad at you? What'd you do?
I killed his Spargus that one time.
That's rude.
It's like, yeah.
Whatever.
I was actually going to fly my Machariel a bunch and then suddenly take 3 destroyers. Kind of a hard counter to my Machariel.
Yes. Despite what Chester would say, yes.
No. He was talking about a Newt Vexter, I believe. That's like, yeah, like, get your take 3 destroyers and like take it against my Newt Vexter or something like that.
I don't. Well, I mean, in the Twitters, he didn't specify his ship, but yeah, I found that amusing, to say the least.
Yeah.
But that, I gotta say, I mean, for what that was portrayed as and how the discussion on Twitters actually played out about that discussion, I wish we had, like, I wish this was like part of a tabloid I could read for EVE Online every morning. Like, it's not drama, it's just good reads, good stuff, and then some things I can chuckle about for people discussing what was actually said there. So, I mean, for the people that are watching right now, so TikTok initiated a little bit of dialogue with Chesser and Fintaru and a couple of the guys in Fragbox the other day, and it ended up being a fairly good dialogue about streaming EVE, and then Chesser's view on microgang PvP and his views on the game and what's good, what's bad, sort of stuff. So it's an interesting read, to say the least, but surprisingly to me, kind of, that it actually, evidently Chesser has a lot of fans. There's a lot of people that have opinion on Chesser. I think the whole Kying West comparison to Chesser actually is pretty spot on the money, because people can't help but talk about him. I thought that was very interesting.
I was stupid enough to ask him if he should like start streaming, because I actually had a guy tell me that I should contact Chesser about streaming.
Oh yeah, is that how that happened?
Yeah, because I was streaming and apparently Chesser wanted to get into streaming. That's what I was told.
Oh.
So just like asked Chesser in
so that
like,
might have been kind of bait to get you. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
So I just like asked him about that, and he was like, "Dude, streaming is like shit. Why would anyone stream? That's awful."
Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
And then Fintaru came and was like, "Dude, what you're talking about streaming is awesome." And
well, that's just it, though. I mean, for everything how he was explaining what he enjoys about the game and PvP, all that jazz. Streaming is the last thing you want to do, right? You know, it might be a good way to show off different forms of PvP real time and be able to explain things to people, which is, you know, one of the aspects I'd like to take for it. But as far as like getting, you know, really good engagements and stuff, it's like the last thing you want to do, especially like for where he roams around for PvP. You know, you just get one person linked to the stream in Intel, and suddenly you're just going to get a hard counter, and you're not going to get the fights you're looking for.
Yeah. I'm actually really surprised
guys,
I haven't been hard countered more. Like, I can't really ever think of a time I've been, like, stream sniped while streaming.
Well, I think the issue with that is that you are generally one of the bigger stream snipers. So I think you just need to talk with all your stream sniper friends and tell them, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah. And maybe talk to Santo and say, "Please come my pod, please."
Because of that drama, or like if you can call it drama, people are calling it drama. I wouldn't call it drama.
It's not really drama.
I made a new corp, or I'm in the process of making a new corp. So,
you know, I wish you the best with that.
Just to disprove Chesser.
Well, I don't. There's nothing to disprove there. I think he just. I would say, if anything, it's kind of like it's inspirational. But
he said something about like like you having to just like make it yourself, and you like can't get help from others or something like that.
Oh, right. I think he was more pointing out the established, very large organizations that would suck in players and then feed, bad information. I don't think he.
I don't know. It sounds better if I'm saying like I'm doing this to disprove Chessor.
Okay, you're doing it that way. So I mean, and Chessor is a product of like a small community raising players. I mean, he this game is an MMO. It's not like he was a hermit. He went away. He turned off. He did not use Google. He just learned everything on his own, and he learned it the right way because of this. No, like he joined up in a community, like a kind of a small corp experience, a mid-sized corp experience, and they definitely did learn PvP. They kind of forged their own path, but they definitely drawed inspiration and influence from others. It's not like they reinvented the wheel several times over.
Oh yeah,
but like I don't. Given that he's a product of like a kind of a community that raised its players, I guess he could say in a way I could say right in that I don't really appreciate the School of Hard Knocks aspect of the hatchery. I think Quark overdid it many a time. He definitely raised up like some of the best PvPers that we have today. Like those people know their stuff. And despite the kind of School of Hard Knocks kind of approach to that, it was definitely the environment that was present in that organization spawned some people that were very top notch. Like they were very commanding in how they approached different forms of EVE gameplay, whether that be PvP or PvE. They're like some of the first people to jump onto the faction warfare LP farming and making bajillions of ISK. I mean, Quark, made like his first trillion off of the contract issues when they were revamped contracts. There's a whole bunch of stuff that that group of players kind of did first, just because they advocated for intelligent play. But I think like my issue, I don't know how much I want to like let myself be drawn into this, but my kind of like my issue when I see Chester's argument that players should be kind of forced into this PvP sort of arena. I don't know if that's the right way to portray it. It's probably not. But
yeah, I was actually going to. I actually went to the public channel and I was about to like tell them about how nullsec fleet fights is like the only true way to play EVE.
Oh,
but
just troll.
Sadly, Chester wasn't there, so there was no point.
That's rude. You shouldn't do that. But I mean, the way I see it is, I mean, there's so many. This is a sandbox game. I think there's one dude that commented on that Twitter thing. It's like someone's telling like someone else like how to eat their sand sort of thing, and on Twitter it's like how amusing. It's if someone doesn't want to learn kind of like all of the little technical details that you or I have put so much attention into mastering. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a sandbox game. It's not like, CCP has made it sort of the end game, and the way you win the game is mastering manual piloting and minimizing transversal. No, not at all. It's just the mechanic to the game that you can look into, and it's going to improve your ability for some types of PvP. Another thing I find kind of amusing whenever you're talking about, say, kind of mastering those little small gang solo sort of mechanics of, say, operating a fleet, fleet communication, optimal fitting, optimal manual piloting. One of the greatest ways to deal with people that are employing those sort of tactics kind of stems from kind of the basis of the game. It's called a massively multiplayer online game. Is just getting friends and then outnumbering them and blowing the fuck out of them through sheer numbers. I mean, why should you invest all this time to try to get people that are, say, quote unquote elite PvPers? We can just get a couple of friends and get, like, say, a couple of Griffins or something and jam them out and use much easier to learn game mechanics to deal with it.
Well, I don't know. Like, I frequently go solo up against, say, 20-man fleet and usually come out on top. So friends isn't everything.
Okay.
I would say that if you have competent friends, that would be like the best.
Okay.
Like I think there's like three types of players. The players that really don't know anything, they just like sit there and press F1 and don't have any situational awareness at all. And then there's like the normal average player, I guess, and then there's like the elite PvPers.
Mm.
I think if you can get a fleet of like decent players that like realize that maybe you shouldn't be flying 100k away from your fleet, yeah, you just kick ass. But if you have those that like don't realize that if you're 100k away from the fleet, you might as well be solo. Like the solo elite PvPers are going to just kick their ass because you're just waiting for them to make a mistake and then you just pounce on that and kill them. That's basically what solo PvP against the bigger fleet is. Just wait for someone to make a mistake and then try to kill them and then repeat. So if you can get someone that like realizes that they shouldn't be making those mistakes and just play it safe, yeah, you'll just win always. I mean, that's like what splitting people up and all that is about. Just trying to make them make a mistake. Get that one guy away from the fleet so you can kill him and then just repeat until everyone are dead. So the combat recons have been out for a while. What do you think about them? Are they like super broken?
No. I mean, I think everyone expected it to be a gimmick. You know, it's a gimmick. Some people were louder about it being a game-breaking gimmick than others, but I think the people, the kind of the fringe element that were stating that it's just going to be, you know, it's going to destroy gameplay, it's going to make solo impossible, blah, blah, blah. It's going to make medium outposts or wormholes uninhabitable, blah, blah, blah. It's not the case.
Yeah.
I think that it still is very much a gimmick, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I think that they could use more looking at that roll bonus isn't a huge roll bonus. I think it's a roll bonus that Eve players deserve. It's a very Eve-like roll bonus. It's, you know, denies information, which is very powerful. You know, it's something that fits very well into this game. I think that, you know, people wanting more, say, resists out of them to make them more fleet vessels, what have you. While I don't necessarily agree with giving them, say, hack resists, I feel it is warranted, though. I think they could use a little bit more oomph to them. I mean, some recons, that, you know, they work very well. Like, a Falcon works very well. I think a Razu's work fairly well. Right, like essentially not so much the combat recons, but the force recons work. Yeah, the force recons seem to be filling filling their niche very well. The combat recons, not so much.
Yeah. I think they're kind of side grades. I kind of like that. There really used to be no reason to fly, say, a Hugin over a Rapier, if not for like the slot layout. The only really like combat recon that was useful was the Curse.
It still is useful. Right. It's like they didn't really touch it.
Yeah, but I think that they're kind of more equal now, like in usefulness, because they don't show up on this scan. Like I see in fleets now, a lot of people like using Hugins instead of Rapiers and like Kisses instead of Arasu.
Mm. Well, I mean, how are they using them though? I mean, for how I see them being used, I don't really think they're necessarily. Really. They may as well be using like a force recon as far as I'm concerned. Like the biggest difference is that you don't have that cloak delay for locking people.
But that's kind of what I said. You kind of do like with warping in instead. No, that's kind of like why I think they are balanced, because it takes 5 seconds to decloak with cloaking 5. And it takes 5 seconds to warp in on grid with the combat recon.
It's such a marginal difference, though. I don't necessarily.
Oh, yeah, it's different, but I think it's side grades. Like I wouldn't say one is more powerful than the other. I would say they're like different but equal.
Okay, I can see that.
Besides the curse, the curse, like that's way more powerful than the pilgrim for whatever reason.
Well, I would definitely have to say that the the buffs to the Pilgrim, I feel, made it a much more effective ship. I mean, you still don't see them all that often, but I feel that it's a lot better spot than it used to be.
I don't understand why the curse is stronger than the Pilgrim.
Well, I think it still comes down to the Pilgrim is more of like 100% kind of ganking boat that can actually kind of get along by itself ganking ships. Does that really work in the current meta where, you know, if you're PvEing, you're probably going to have access to friends very close to you? Not so much, but... Oh shit, there's this.
Well, the solo PvP curse has and always will be like really, really amazing ship. Just as much as the Pilgrim. They fill different roles, of course. Like the Pilgrim was more of like a solo ganking boat with a cloak. Like you get close, decloak, and then use them. And the curse has been like a kitey ship.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both always... Actually, that's kind of funny. Those two have always been like the two go-to recons for solo PvP. Like, if you want to solo, you either got, like, a curse and kited with it, or a Pilgrim and ganked with it.
It's the exact same thing that Seyfin does in the Sentinel. It has just a really good combination of E-War effects. 1, you can turn off the tank. 2, you turn off the guns of a turret boat. And then 3, you have you have the props so you can maintain range. I mean, most recons have that.
Yeah, but you turn off the prop mod, which is really important.
Oh, yeah, you turn off the prop... Yeah, I understand. But you have that drone bonus.
You have them...
So you have some damage on top of everything else.
All those recons, well, electronic attack frigates too, I believe, they have really, really awful agility and not that amazing speed. So being able to turn off the prop mod is really, really useful. Speaking of recons, it seems that DC are flying around with the fleet of recons. Spooky. So what do you think about the discussion on learning implants and remaps?
A little busy sec. Speed wasn't as high as I thought it should be. That's kind of weird. I feel like I should have done better there, but I didn't see the railguns in the Comet until it was too late. So what is the discussion?
Basically, people are saying that implants and more specifically remaps don't add anything to the game. That they are like the.
Are we talking about upgrades. Attributes?
Yeah, attributes basically. That they really don't do anything but like a punishment. Something. I'm not sure I agree with like attributes as a whole that they are bad, but I agree with the learning implants. I don't think they are good for the game, especially not for nullsec.
I mean, if you're, I wouldn't be opposed to attributes being removed from the game. Learning implants, I think there's only so far you can go for kind of removing sort of the penalties of the game for having one implant set versus another. I think a better way to look at it, or like an alternative way to look at it, would say, let's say if you have jump clones available in a station. If you didn't jump, but you just jumped it within the same station, if you could swap between clones that way. And if you jumped to a different station, then you'd have a cooldown. I think that'd be a better way to look at it. I don't think getting rid of learning implants, I don't think it's necessarily a good or bad thing. I'm I don't really like getting rid of them. I think putting a little bit of risk into training faster isn't a bad thing, especially if you one of the things as a new player, I think you always want to look at, you know what, if I put in a little bit more money, I might be able to catch up with some of these older players. And then you also have the aspect of, for some longer skill trains, just having something to reduce that is nice.
Yeah, I don't think learning implants, like, yeah, there's a penalty, but like, what's the reward? Like, it's basically a punishment for undocking and like trying to PvP. Yeah, you're rewarded for just sitting in station with like a +5 set and just.
Well, there's nothing stopping you from doing stuff with those learning implants in. It's like the difference is one player may have combat implants, another player may have learning implants in. I think.
Yeah, but that's a fair if you are PvPing in Nullsec, you really can't have a +5 set because it's not affordable, basically.
Sure, but and then this goes back to kind of like the jump clone issue. So if you made it so you could swap between jump clones and not like have that ability to go between like different parts of the map, if you're just moving between clones in a station, I think that'd be a nice way to address that dilemma.
But that just adds another problem though, like of being able to swap clones. That's maybe not a good thing. Like, say, being able to instantly swap from, say, snakes to crystals.
What about it is... What's bad about it?
No, I don't think there's anything bad. But I think CCP said at some point that I thought that it would be powerful to be able to swap between, say, crystals and snakes and slaves, like, at any point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I agree that's powerful, but, I mean, if we're just going to talk about game mechanics, I mean... Is it bad? Is that really necessarily a bad thing? I don't really think it's actually all that much of a bad thing anyway. I mean, it's already being done, except that people kind of have a cooldown on it. They're only able to do it like every 19 hours, is get into their ideal optimal clone. Damn it.
That's the kind of thing, though. You commit for a day, basically.
Yep.
But at least for me, like, when I go to Nullsec and I jump into a +3 clone, that's kind of annoying. Like, I'm just thinking to myself, why am I doing this? I should just be in Lowsec or Highsec, well, Lowsec really, with my my snakes or my, like, +5s, and get that skill points without being punished. Because I don't really feel that learning implants, they add anything to the game. I think they should be replaced with something else. There should still be those implants, but they should do something else. I don't know what else, but something else that's like useful in space.
Okay.
Maybe like a weaker Genolution set, something like that.
I mean, as far as my opinion goes, I feel that I wouldn't mind if the attribute system was thrown out of the window. I think that's a nice, like a positive thing that could be added to the game. I don't necessarily like the attribute system as it is. As far as learning implants go, if you can get rid of the attribute system and then introduce kind of like just this, a training reduction time implant, as a cost benefit and then something that you're risking when you're going out into space, I feel that it is, depending on how much of an effect they give to these rebalanced learning implants. I think it's a healthy enough thing to have in the game. I just I do sympathize with what you're bringing up with players using combat implants versus learning implants, and then learning implants, like high grade learning implants, being very expensive. I mean, my opinion is kind of like giving that option out there for the jump clones and having that ability to swap between them if you want to have like your learning implant set and your combat implant set. That's my opinion on it.
I think it's kind of like the like when you had to upgrade clones, clone upgrades.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same. You're basically, you have the choice to not like upgrade your clone, so you're saving ISK, but like there's no reason not to have clone. And
there really isn't a reason though. Yeah.
And
there isn't really a choice.
Kind of the same with implants. Like, if there's really no reason to not sit in, say, a +3 at least, or preferably a +5 set.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much money you have and how much money you can make. I mean,
yeah,
like a +2 set, I would say is like cheat like chips. It's nothing. +3 set.
In null sec,
it's still
like, or
nothing,
this
but,
here in low sec, I use high grade snake, so that's basically a +4
+3
set.
set. Oh, is it +3 or +4? I thought it was +3s.
High grades are +4, mid grades are +3, and low grades are +2, I believe.
Oh, is that how they made it? Okay. They used to be just low grades and high grades.
Yeah,
It
they
was
changed
+2s,
that.
+3s. Yeah, I didn't realize it was +4s.
Yeah, high grades give 4 points. And low grades gives 2 points, yeah. So, but if I go to null sec...
Yeah, Darwin, I hear you.
To,
With the
say,
attribute
a
system.
+3 implant
I wouldn't
set,
mind
and,
if it went away.
And then I'm basically just punishing myself by not having, say, a +4 or +5. Like, I'm just
As long as
losing
you don't
skill
get
points
putted.
there. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like... I don't get it. Like, what's the game mechanic there?
Well, it's the same kind of game mechanic if you're running around with the snake set. Except that
But,
instead
the snake
of
set,
your...
like that, I'm paying 3 billion ISK for like 30% more speed, not for like the +4.
Okay.
So I totally agree that like if you're running around with snakes and you're like risking 3 billion ISK for like because you have 30% more speed, that's good and balanced, and like that's how it should be. But
I mean, how does that... Okay, so let's talk about your high grade snake set. So it's a +4 set on top of giving you a speed bonus. But if you're thinking about it in terms of, you know, I'm willing to risk this in combat because it gives me this benefit. So how is that any different from I'm willing to risk this in combat for this benefit of training things faster? How's that any different from running with a snake set versus
because
a +4 +5
learning
set?
skills faster doesn't really affect combat.
But it does affect your training speed. So if I don't want to miss out on an SP, then I want to have those implants in.
Yeah.
So it's a choice that the player
maybe
made. Yes, it is a
for,
penalty in that like you could die, but that's the cost benefit. And you also just kind of mentioned that we just kind of got to there's not much reason to not have +2s or +3s. Okay. I mean, I guess one way you could look at it in terms of that is you could just kind of build in like maybe +2, +3s into it, but like you already have this system where you have like really cheap implants that you can use at any given time. It's not that big of a deal to lose them. You can replace them very easily. They're available everywhere. And then you have the more costly implants that cost something, and now you're kind of having to make a decision whether or not you're going to use them in environments where you may get your pod killed. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's actually very similar to, say, using a pirate implant set. You just don't have that tangible on-grid benefit. The benefit isn't related to that part of the gameplay. It's related to how fast you can get into another ship. And for some players, say perhaps a younger player that's trying to, you know, skill up their character and get access to more stuff, it's a very tangible benefit to them, and they want to have that ability to train things faster. So, I mean...
Yeah, point there. But then the question is, like, is it good for the game? Like, is it, first of all, fun?
So,
and,
what would
is
be
it
the
balanced?
alternative? You just have everyone train at the same speed?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like, if anything, I would say that new players should train faster than old players.
Interesting.
Like, I would prefer if everyone trained at the same speed, but, like, that isn't the case, if anything, like, new players should be able to train faster to catch up with older players. Like, it's kind of stupid that a new player might be sitting there with, like, a +1 set, while I'm sitting here with a +4 or +5. I think that, like, there's currently no, like slot 1 through 6 hardwire. Well, there's a slot 6, but, like, no slot 1 through 5 hardwire. So
Yes.
I think they should replace those learning implants with just slot 1 through 5 hardwires of some kind. I think that would be, like, the way to go. And just give everyone, like, the same training speed. Because, like, there's no fun in learning implants. It's like, when I'm using snakes, I get a kick out of, like, flying 3 billion ISK in my head, but I get the reward for it. Like, it feels good. Like, it's kind of the same, like, when I'm faction fitting my stuff. Like, I'm getting something out of it, and I'm risking a lot. But for implants, I just feel punished, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, aside from the punishment aspect, the other element to this argument I'm hearing is that you're punishing the people that need it the most, that need those implants the most. Like, new players are the ones that are going to be most hard up to being actually able to, this actually might not be good. to actually afford those
that's true.
implants. Yeah.
Like at some point, like
Arcevo.
soon, I'm guessing that I'm currently sitting on what 82 million skill points. Once I reach, I don't know, 100 million skill points, I'm guessing that I will have basically everything in the game, like all the ships.
Not quite, but you'll get around there.
I mean, well, all the like all the subcaps I want to fly. Like,
sure.
just looking at what I have left, like I want to get, like, I mean, I have everything to 5 except Amar battleship, and then I need like take 2 ships to 5. Like hack and all those stuff. But once I get that, I don't really care about learning anything else. Like at that point, I guess I could just train for a Titan.
I mean, I'm 40 million SP above that. I'm still training stuff. I'm not saying
what
that.
What kind of stuff though? Like I guess you can train those
supports.
Like specialization skills to 5, like gunnery and.
It's not just the spec skills. It's supports. So if I were to look at my my training queue here. And warp off to a different gauge because I don't want this Hugin to kill me. So Nanite operation, some E-War skills that I never trained up. I'm still getting out my T3 skills, getting those all done. Some drone skills, supports, rigging skills, some probing skills, leadership. I haven't finished up fleet command. Graviton physics, that's for Hick. Target management, so I get a +1 target if I want it. And that in itself, that's another year's worth of training, and just those supports. Are they?
Well,
like...
I don't care about leadership because I have an alt for that.
Okay, so what happens if you want to get into tournament play? It's kind of useful to have fleet command skill if you're going to be running a command ship and have links. You know, it's a potential. It's a potentiality.
Yeah,
like...
I have my alt for that. So I guess if I was in the Alliance tournament, I would just use my alt for that.
Okay. Okay. So your alt has like pretty much all the skills that you have. Okay.
Speaking of which, my alt is respect to charisma right now for all the leadership stuff, and I'm basically done with all the leadership stuff, but I don't really want to respect back just yet. Like I still have those like marketing skills and like leadership, or not leadership, but corporate skills. I won't ever use them, but I kind of feel bad not training them now that I have just respect. I'm really debating if I should like basically waste a bunch of skill points, like training like the skill for like creating alliances and stuff like that. Stuff that I will never use, like all the trading skills to 5. Like I never ever trade. I won't need those like those trading skills that give you more market slots, because I don't enjoy trading. I've tried it. I don't like it. I won't ever do it. But I don't want to waste these opportunities. I already have the charisma. So I'm really I'm running out of useful skills to train, and that's like in the next day or two I'll have to decide. So I don't know what to do.
It's pretty much, well, you also have to look at it in that, like, you're playing a sandbox game, and even if you really enjoy what you're doing right now, you may not always enjoy that, and it may be useful in the future to have some extra utility to the character that you're playing with. So
yeah,
I've found myself doing things that, and finding enjoyment in them, that I never would have thought of, say, a year ago, or even a month ago, or a day ago.
Yeah, but I like, say, trading. I've tried trading. I don't enjoy it. I actually despise it. I tried trading for like a week, and that week I just didn't want to log into the game. Because I knew I had to update my orders and stuff, but that just was such a big pain in the ass that I just didn't want to log in. Just I didn't have to do that. I don't think I'll ever trade, just because of that.
Fuck me. Oh, is that the same guy? No. Same fit, though. Another 100 MN, or 150 millimeter railgun fit. Oh, shit. Really? Send me home, please. These fucking comets, man. They're like a plague.
Yeah. Slicer with no long point. Interesting.
It's a gank beam slicer.
How much DPS do you have?
300, but that doesn't really mean much to
That's actually really good.
It's really good, yeah. But I'm shooting an armor tank, and he's using a much better damage type. So even though he does half the damage, I don't have the tank. Like the freaking Comet has a destroyer level tank. Kind of infuriating that ship is as powerful as it is.
Yeah, you should really like. If I were you, I would just abuse the Tech-3 destroyers now before they get nerfed and kill all the comets. Like,
but I wouldn't be able to fit that fat destroyer butt into a novice, so I wouldn't be able to get him. I got this lovely camera bug. Actually, now that I have Darwin in the chat, Darwin, is this one on the work list? I've reported this one like 4 times now. No, the optimal is around
do you know what
like 10k. It's a slicer. It has a 10-20% bonus
like,
to
could
the
it happen
optimal.
in the middle of combat?
So, no. So what happens? It has something to do with when you're in a capsule. It doesn't happen when you're not in a capsule.
Yeah, it does. I've had that happen to me when I'm not in the capsule. I'm pretty sure.
When you have this effect, because I've seen it where you have your ship is offset, your camera is offset from your ship.
I've had that happen to my ship. I'm rarely ever in a pod, so.
For me, it's always when I've been podded, I'm reshipped, and I'm moving around in my pod. That's when it happens for me, and it's undone by jumping through a gate and I believe docking and undocking.
Yeah, well, as long as it doesn't happen in combat, I guess it's not so bad.
It's never happened for me in combat. It's always when you've leave a ship or something like that happens. Okay, I guess I'll report it because Darwin's not saying anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So what do you think about all those, recent, I guess, DDoS attacks? I don't know. I think it's DDoS attacks. Recent server instabilities. It's kind of annoying. I lost a Saber and a mid-grade snake pod to that. Just jumping through a gate and nothing loaded, and then suddenly an Ishkur killed me, and I couldn't do anything. And the launcher lately has also been really buggy, I guess. Have you had any trouble with? No, you don't use launcher. Never mind. Maybe I should stop using that too.
I think it's just the nail on the head, and that they're getting DDoS and they're having issues related to that. Oh, I actually just went through a gate and I still have the issue. This is interesting. I've never had it last this long.
I usually have to relog to fix that.
Alright, Darwin, then I won't send multiple bug reports.
Other ways.
The message you got when your pod was getting destroyed is because you clicked too fast. The message? What are you talking about? What message? I don't understand. They just get marked as dupes? Well, okay. Well, I mean, when do I not... Okay, so here's my issue, Darwin. This is something that I really hate about the bug report system, in that I do not get feedback from the bug report. I know I'm probably talking to the wrong person about this. I don't know who to talk to about the bug reports. So just take it as you will, but because I don't get feedback, I don't know when I should stop reporting bugs. Because from what I understand from troubleshooting, multiple bug reports are good. but now you're telling me that multiple bug reports are going to be flagged as duplicates. How am I to know? Because if there's one thing I really don't want is to have my efforts be in vain, because then I am now in the position where, well, if what I'm doing is being marked as a duplicate, then I'm just not going to do bug reports. It's like, it's negative feedback, even if you don't intend it to be that way. I mean, that's my perspective on it. So that's, if anything, that's something I don't want to hear. Is like, you get marked as duplicates. Okay, that's what's infuriating to me, Darwin. And this is something I did express in the roundtable, is that even, I understand there's a bug report site. However, making me take extra steps to go outside of the game experience when I have the petition system where I can view all that in game, and where I have to take this extra step to go out of game and go onto the site and click that link and log in and then view this information, is a pain in my ass. I would much prefer it to be like the petition system. Unfortunately, again, bug reports are such a kind of small aspect of the game. I don't ever anticipate that being changed. I understand that the bug report system is actually tied to some, it's like something that's not actually Eve. That's why it is the way it is. But I would like if the bug report system, if you kind of port it over the petition system, it would be much nicer for me as a player to see that feedback. And then I'd be able to directly interact with the bug hunters and help them with the issue. I think that would be a beneficial addition to the game. And I don't know if I needed to talk at someone to say that, if there's a better person for me to talk to, instead of just having you convey that, or however, let me know. Because I would not mind, talking at someone about this issue. Because I do want to help, but if possible, let's take a little bit of the effort out of helping, and that'd be cool. Hey, Leseko, how's it going? Oh wow, I just had one of my stream viewers say he got that camera bug now in a fight. It's spreading! It's a virus! It's gonna kill everyone!
User disconnected from your channel.
Okay. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I catch up with chat a little bit here. You guys have been chatting a lot, and I've been just talking to TikTok.
You had to relog?
User entered your
Sorry?
channel.
No?
You have to relog?
No. I think once I docked up, I was fine.
User disconnected from your channel.
Might have been a wording issue. Removing learning implants. Yeah, the streams have actually been. I think Darwin's been talking a lot about the attribute system while we've been chatting about stuff. They're on a much different tangent than we took. So all I'm doing right now, guys, I'm just kind of reading through what's been talked about in the past 10 or so minutes. Stronger baseline. Yeah, I mean, I think a stronger baseline character, that's something that
User entered your
is going to be constantly, I guess, an issue. Whoa, okay.
What happened?
We just had CCP hack into TS, I guess.
Hey.
Hello, CCP's Darwin. How's it going?
So, bug reports.
Bug reports. Talk to me about bug reports.
Hang on.
I'm hanging on to every word, man.
Sorry, I had an echo in my ear. Okay, so bug reports. Here's the deal with bug reports. you report a bug, and either it gets duplicated, in which case it's great, or it gets closed.
Oh, when you say duplicate, you don't mean it's a duplicate report. You mean they were able to duplicate it and it's good. They figured it out and it's closed.
No, I mean, no. If you report it multiple times, those are like, oh, this report is a duplicate of this other report over here.
Okay.
And if you report a bug and they can't repeat it and it's closed, and then you report it again and they say, oh, it's a duplicate of this other report over here, and then they make a link to it, then it may still go nowhere because it's a duplicate of a closed report. So what you got to do is you report it, and then you just let it be. In this particular case, I've looked up your bug, and I know it's a known issue.
Okay.
And it's something which is a known problem, and they have trouble reproducing it, but they know that a lot of people have reported it.
Okay.
So continuing to report it doesn't help. It's just going to mean that somebody's got to go take your bug and then link it up as a duplicate of the other bug over there. But the point is, it's a known issue, and it's something which people are... it's kind of on the list to look into, but it's one of those things which is...
Okay, and this is something I've talked to Karker about. I think I talked to you a little bit about this during FanFest. But, so as a player that wants to help, what is the best way to... run me through bug reporting. Tell me what you want out of players as far as bug reporting goes.
If you've got an issue which you think is not the game working correctly, submit a bug report. If you've already submitted a bug report on something, and it isn't, you don't see any changes, you don't see any fixes that are getting fixed as a result of it, then reporting it again is probably going to be less valuable.
Okay.
The other thing is, if you do report a bug, keep an eye, log in once in a while to the bug reporting website, which is on the account page on EVEonline.com. Keep an eye on that. And the reason you keep an eye on it is because occasionally there is feedback. There will be a bug hunter saying, can you give us more information about exactly what you did that led up to this? Or there will be can you tell us more about your system configuration or whatever? In those instances, if you see that response and you can answer it, then that'll help. If you don't see the response and you don't answer it, and unfortunately, I totally hear your concerns about that stuff not being visible in game.
Yeah.
We all wish it were visible in game. It isn't visible in game. I don't know what has to happen to make that happen. It's not visible in game, but it'll be visible on the website.
Okay, so essentially, as far as concerned parties go that are willing to put in a little bit of extra effort, going onto the website and watching that on occasion if you've submitted a bug or if this is a bug that you care about is a thing that you should do.
It's absolutely worthwhile because there will be responses that ask you for additional information in some cases, or maybe they'll just tell you what happened with it. If you report a bug, the best way to report a bug is do it from in-game. If you do it from the website, the problem is they don't have access to what excuse me, they don't have access to what build of the game you were using. They don't have access to what your if you report it in game, you get automatically uploaded your whole system configuration and a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
So reporting bugs in game is good. If you have a bug that you've already reported, go have a look at it. Now, if you look at it on the website and you see that it's closed and you have the bug again, then go ahead and report it again. That's fine. The issue is if you report a bug and it's, oh yeah, we know this is an issue, it's an ongoing thing or whatever, and then you report a bug and you report a bug and you report a bug, and those are all the same bug. You do it 5 or 6 times. All you're doing is you're kind of clogging the system up for other bugs.
So essentially the only time, if you have an issue and you've reported it, the only time you should say do a new bug report is if something's new or something's different.
Right. And if you look at the website and you see, they closed my bug, but then I just had the issue again, then go ahead and report it again. There may be something different about the way that it happened this time that helps them. Or maybe you describe it in a different way that allows them to get a better hook on it.
And one
Or
last
maybe
thing,
the
because I've
fact-
only been into that interface once so far. Is there kind of like a similar system to like what you see the petitions where you can put in comments and CCP would be able to read that and all that sort of stuff, where you can kind of get a little thread going?
I'm pretty sure if you have additional information, you can add it there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It seems you can. Like, you can leave a comment.
So, like I say, you know, I mean, I'm all for supporting your reporting bugs, and in this particular case, I've seen you have this bug on stream multiple times while I've been watching, so it's obviously a real thing. I know that it's being tracked as a real thing because I know that the folks on the team know that it's been happening occasionally, and that it's very difficult to track down. But if you have a bug that's already open, unless you've got something new to add to it, like, for example, if you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to provide a much more detailed description of what happened that exactly led up to this, then that might be a case where it might be of value to add an additional bug report.
Yeah, so I was under the false impression that for some of these issues, it's kind of a volume thing, where when you're talking about kind of like that background information that the bug report will pull in about like what was going on game, etc., I was under the impression if you have like an issue that comes up, flooding the systems with bug reports every time it happens would be beneficial to you guys, because now you have more ammunition with which to address that issue.
I think that's true. That's true when it's across many people. If it's the same person submitting a report over and over and over again,
Okay.
then that's less valuable. And the
That
reason
helps
is
me, because it saves me time.
The reason is because you'll occasionally have people who say, well, I submitted this bug a month ago. Oh, I'm submitting this bug again, and they submit many times, and whatever they're reporting may not necessarily even be a bug, but the fact that it's that one person reporting it over and over again just means that that person's somebody who is motivated to be very aggressive about communicating it.
Okay.
So, like I say, I would say submit a bug, keep an eye on the web page. If it says it's closed, submit it again when it happens again. And by the way, I will do my best personally to follow up on this particular bug because I've seen it happen on your stream multiple times.
Why, thank you.
But that said, that doesn't mean that I can necessarily do anything about it. It's one of these things which is so intermittent that it's hard to track down.
And I wish I could reproduce it all the time. It seems that the best way to do it is just to get me killed in a very very one-sided manner. That seems be the best way to reproduce it. So I could try to do that more often.
I've got a question for you. Does it only happen when you're in your pod?
Okay, so I have other people telling me that it's when they're not in their pod. For me, it's only been when I've been in a pod in recent memory. I think TikTok was just saying he was in a ship when it happened. I can't remember it ever happening when I was in a ship.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. I'm
It
sorry
does,
that I can't
definitely.
offer you a whole lot more. The truth is, there's never a downside to reporting. It's just one of those things where, if, in your case, I know you've reported this bug multiple times, and I know it's all getting tracked, so I can tell you it's not going to help to report it again. In some cases, that may not necessarily be the case. It may be valuable to report it multiple times. I don't necessarily know. I'm just saying, in this particular case, I can follow up on it, and I hope that helps.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Darwin.
All right, take care.
Bye.
User disconnected from your channel.
It's really useful to have like a TeamSpeak server that is kind of a public TeamSpeak server that does public rooms on a regular basis, thanks to Sir Squeebles, that evidently a couple of devs know about. I'm quite happy about that. That was kind of cool. But yeah, so I mean, I'm glad that I'm kind of vindicated in that the shotgun approach to reporting isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's interesting here. It can clog up the system, but okay. I mean, I guess in Darwin's favor, I mean, if I'm going to take the extra time to do like 4 to 5 even more bug reports, I may as well just log into that damn website. It just bugs me that I can't just click a button in game and then see it like a petition system, because I see this wonderful system working here in game, and then I have to go out of game for this other kind of reporting system, and to me it feels like the same thing, even though I know it's not. It's through a different like reporting
It
system.
seems you can like the in-game reports show up on that out-of-game report site. So I think you can report it in-game and just go on that out-of-game site to
In-game?
like follow up.
Oh yeah. That's what it is follow up. I just like I want to help the bug reporters or the bug hunters, not the reporters. I want to help them too. But I know, personally, and I know other people are like this as well, is that you're only the less effort it takes to say interact, or it says it takes to say do a bug report or what have you, the more traction you're going to get with players and with your user base, right? So I mean, if it takes me like say 5 to 10 minutes every time I'm going to report a bug, I don't have as much reason to do it because it's like it's a fair bit of effort. Whereas if it takes me like say 30 seconds to submit a bug, I have a lot less time cost for me to do that. Especially when this is a game and it's for my enjoyment. So that's kind of that's my big issue with it. I feel this is actually kind of even though it seems small, it feels to me like kind of like a moderate issue with the game, where if your bug reporting is kind of out of whack like that, where you have to log in to a website, I feel like that should be rectified. But I'm not CCP, so there's that. Blah. But anyway, cool. Well, I'm running out of steam here. TikTok, it's actually been a blast. I'm really thankful that you jumped on because it's actually been a fairly quiet night for me. So we had some pretty good dialogue, pretty good discussion going on. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's enjoyable.
I wish you the best with your new corp. Have you figured that out yet? Have you started it yet?
I have it, but like I'm not in it yet. I'm waiting for the like the rolls to drop.
The rolls to drop. Okay. Is it still going to be in Periphery?
Probably.
Probably. Okay, so you're still going to be doing the low sec sort of thing. Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, I wish you the best for that. I will definitely be in contact with you and seeing how that works out, and might try to help you out in whatever way I can. So it's always a noble effort to try to help the game grow and try to help people learn. That's one of my big things.
It's going to be a blast.
I hope so. I really do hope so. Whenever I look at a new player experience, especially for I think the type of new player experience that you're shooting for helping people learn in a way that is more personable, like it takes a lot of one-on-one. It takes a lot of kind of man hours to really make that work. So I'm really hopeful that you're gonna have fun with it and you're keep at it, but two, that you're gonna find like-minded individuals that are gonna help you do that. So it's definitely gonna be a challenge, but I think you're the kind of guy that's gonna be up for it. So cool.
Yeah, the goal is to like train people so they can like help train other people. Hopefully they won't just leave once they like know what to do.
Yeah, teach a person to catch a fish sort of deal. Hopefully they'll teach others. Okay, cool, man. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off TS. It was fantastic talking with you. I'll see you later.
Yes, yeah.
Disconnected.
Well, cool. Well, that was interesting. I don't often get into these kind of talks on the stream. I felt like I was running a podcast there for a little bit. I'm usually just talking at myself or doing fleet stuff or talking about mechanics or sort of stuff. So that was actually pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. I might have to do like a TikTok night or something, or make it kind of like a podcast-esque night where we talk about things like that. I think that is neat, especially if we can get either personalities from around the game in there in talking about stuff, or maybe some CCP interaction, stuff like that. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I'm pretty much running out of time here. I got to work tomorrow, so this is going to be the end of the stream for now. I hope you guys enjoyed that pretty cool discussion, I think, on attribute system, on game mechanics, and on bug reporting. I hope we all learned a little bit of something about bug reporting. So again, for everyone that may not know, if you scroll down, you will see that I now once again have a stream schedule. So that means that I'm going to be doing my damnedest to stream for that schedule. So right now we have 4 days a week. I am much more likely to make the weekdays versus the weekend. I'm going to be trying. We're going to see how my schedule over the next couple of weeks works. But as it is right now, it is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. PST. is 1 a.m. the next day GMT. So I've been starting like 1 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then on the weekend, I'm trying to do a European focus stream on Sunday. I don't like the Sunday, but I do have the potential for doing Alliance tournament stuff. There is the possibility that Eucharist's going to be going into that. So I'm not that weekend stream is probably it may vary depending on whether or not I'm doing AT stuff. But we have the schedule going now. I may stream in addition to that. But I mean, that's what we have going on there. So now you guys have like a kind of a set schedule to that you can look forward to. I'm always gonna try to make that 4 days. Try to be making the 4 days a week. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it. So I will see you guys on Wednesday at 6 p.m. At least on Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST. So I will see you guys there. Until then, fly reckless and see you then.